gravitational force. Are you kidding me?
Yo, what's up? It's Mr. Young.
And it's foreign in the building. Yo, yo, yo.
What's up, guys? It's time to talk wrestling. So much stuff to talk about. Then again, I say that every single week because there's always stuff to talk about in the world of wrestling, right?
Of course, my brother.
But of course, as always, we want to say that this episode is brought to you by Kick Out, the hottest new fitness workout design for pro wrestling fans like myself, like Foreign, like you tuning in, listening. If you're watching or you're listening to this, you're like, oh man, I need to kickstart my fitness routine after months and months of just lacking at home, right? You're like,
yeah,
what can I do that is interesting, it is fun, and 100% no contact as well? It's just a 1 hour class, right, Foreign?
Yes, correct. If you've ever dreamt of being in the ring, if you ever imagine yourself, like climbing up the top ropes, imagine how it feels to be doing like workouts and all that in the ring itself, this is like the perfect time to live your fantasies and not take a bump. Because there is no contact at all, but you get to do like really, really cool HIIT, which makes use of like the ring elements as well. So it's really, really fun.
That's correct. Can you give an example of what kind of ring elements, like perhaps, do you do any rope work, like running off the rope?
There's no rope work, but you'll get introduced to a very special talent in Grapple Max. His name is Max.
Okay.
He's actually the bodyweight the bodyweight dummy that's there. So
dummy, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so an example of like a workout will be like, they'll do one bodyweight workout on each side of each corner of the ring.
Oh.
So can you imagine like jumping in and out of the ropes and then climbing up the top rope and then going down, sliding back out of the ring, going down all in 1 minute.
Wow.
And then, doing as fast as possible. Yeah. Right. And then after that, you switching to the next corner, you have to like do like a bridge on Max, who's like 30 kg. And it's like, it's like a crazy core and back workout, and then after that you're putting your legs on the ropes and then doing push-ups or bridges as well. Oh man, you'll be dead by the end of it, trust me.
Oh yeah, but you'll be feeling so good that you did it after. So go try Kick Out, okay? Like I said, 1 hour session, you get 20% off your single session. Usual price is $35 if you use the promo code KTTG100, because we are fast approaching our 100th episode, guys. Yes, KTTG100, that is the promo code you use at checkout. Go to the website grapplemax.punchpass.com. Once again, grapplemax.punchpass.com. Use the promo code KTTG100. It's applicable for first-time Grapple Max customers only. 20% off a single session of Kick Out.
Classes are usually held in the evening during weekdays. But if you're like me, you're a busy professional and you want to like chill during the weekdays, nights, and then do it during the weekend, it's happening every Saturday afternoon as well. So it's perfect for your timing depending on your schedule.
Saturday afternoons is also the one that Foreign, you might catch him there, you never know. You never know. So if you want to catch him there, you want to slide into our DMs on our Kick to the Gut Instagram page and ask, hey, Foreign, are you going to be there this weekend? Just slide. We love it when you slide into our DMs.
Who knows? I might even drop some bars, fresh bars on you.
Right,
you never know.
So what is the deal, before we jump into Clash of Champions, what is the deal with that freestyle rap you dropped on your social media?
For those who follow me on social media, other than being a huge wrestling fan and other than working full-time as a writer, I happen to have a passion for rapping as well. So I do rap. I've released a couple of songs out on Spotify. And so this is basically an initiative from this really, really cool collective called Yong Tau Fu. Not the food. It's a legit hip-hop record label calling themselves Yong Tau Fu.
Really? I'm not hungry, yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? So they're pretty dope. And they sell out, they did a call-out to all the producers and all the rappers in Singapore. And basically, they wanted all the producers to collaborate with the rappers based on each side of the country they're living in. So like, if you're from the north side, south side, east side, west side, you represent your own block.
So you represent east side because you east sider.
Yeah, so basically, like a couple of east side producers gave a couple of their instrumentals, and you get to pick and choose which one you vibe with, and then like throw like your hottest 16-bar raps. And I'm thinking to myself like, man, there's gonna be like so much dope, like super really creative and really, really talented rappers, and like how to like stand out, how to stay in my lane, be me, but get to still produce some dope bars. So I think to myself, why not pay homage to wrestling?
That's
and like
right.
My favorite wrestler, Randy Orton. So thinking to myself,
He definitely gets a shout out right at the start of the freestyle, huh?
Yeah, so if like I'm not a legend yet in rapping, why not be the legend killer?
Oh,
Hey,
what?
legend killer freestyle.
Okay, go check out Foreign's
Yeah.
Instagram account. It's on his IGTV. Pretty
Yeah.
dope
Okay.
stuff. It's fire. It's lit.
Thanks, my brother. And of course, since you're plugging stuff as well, right? I want to plug something else. By the time this episode comes out on Friday, right, which is tomorrow, where we're recording today,
Yeah.
I'll be making an announcement that I'm gonna be releasing a brand new single.
Oh, it's here. It's finally here.
Yeah. So look out for that single announcement coming out. It's gonna be a dope song. And hopefully, you never know, we might play a bit of it on Kick to the Gut next week.
Hell yeah. All right, let's do that. In the meantime, though,
Alright.
okay, let's get down to wrestling. And we want to talk about Clash of Champions that just passed this weekend, right? So, okay. All in all, like, in a general sense of it, what did you think of Clash of Champions, bro? Like, just general consensus of, like, how the whole event was.
To me, like the main matches, I thought delivered.
Okay. Yeah.
In my opinion, I thought they delivered. Like the main event, the match that you knew that's gonna steal the night, the Intercontinental Ladder match, all that was great. Everything else was fluff. Everything else was kind of like there wasn't really much coming to it. It felt like an episode of Raw, and then suddenly there was 3 pay-per-view quality matches.
Yeah.
You get what I mean? Yeah.
I get what you mean 100%. I came out of it going, it was like, man, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. You know what I mean? And
Got it.
nowadays, I judge pay-per-views by, did I waste my time watching it? And yeah, it's very weird because like I'm so busy with all the different things that I do now, right? I literally go like, did I just waste 3 hours or was it worth it? And to me, it was barely worth it. So
okay.
And
so
like
if you were
said,
to rate this, with SummerSlam and Payback, where does it stand then?
I think it would be lower on the scale. I mean, SummerSlam and Payback, were pretty exciting. As far as storylines and stuff like that, because now we are sort of in the middle of it, a lot of the storylines. So in terms of whether it's compelling, and a lot of the compelling storylines weren't represented at Clash of Champions because they don't involve champions. Remember, Clash of Champions, you have to be a champion to be involved, right? And a lot of the title belts actually don't involve a compelling storyline, as we've seen. All right, so let's just jump into the card then. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. No worries. So I just wanted to make a comment that the big problem with WWE right now is that they are handcuffing themselves with all these storyline boundaries that they've set. Okay, every single night of champions have to have all champions defended. Every time it's Hell in a Cell, it needs to have a Hell in a Cell match. So it's really, really hard to have this unpredictability in WWE. Back in the day, one of the greatest things that I enjoyed about watching each episode of Raw and SmackDown, you'll never know what's going to be announced for the upcoming pay-per-view. You never know. Maybe, hell, like this rivalry is so great that suddenly Mick Foley, the commissioner, will come in and it's like, you know what? Let's settle this in a Hell in a Cell.
Exactly.
And it's like happening on Bad Blood. You know what I mean? You never know when to expect what. So that's the unpredictability factor that's missing.
We talked about this before at Hell in a Cell, last year's Hell in a Cell, where it just felt like, since this is Hell in a Cell, we better throw some people in a cell. And it didn't, it wasn't the culmination of a bloody, long, drawn-out feud. Like, I imagine Rey Mysterio versus Seth Rollins has to happen in some sort of a match like that and not a freaking eyeball match, right? But like we said that time, and if you missed us talking about it, that's exactly it. Why handcuff yourself by calling the entire pay-per-view Hell in a Cell, where you know that there are going to be at least 2 Hell in a Cell matches, when you can literally have Hell in a Cell at any pay-per-view? Like you said, you can always drop the bomb. At WrestleMania, I want you in Hell in a Cell. Whoa! Then you get that whoa moment. Same thing for Elimination Chamber. Okay, I don't know, maybe Elimination Chamber is too big a structure that, I get that they need to have the Elimination Chamber twice and it has to be a specific pay-per-view. But for Hell in a Cell cage match or TLC especially, it's especially guilty of that. Like, you don't need an event. Call it a different name, call it Armageddon, call it whatever. Just have the match in those pay-per-views.
Can I give a very quick example of like a great storytelling device that was used to
Mm-hmm.
further all storylines and to culminate all storylines with a stipulation.
Mm-hmm.
So you talk about how like Hell in a Cell is like be all and all, right?
Yeah.
My favorite Hell in a Cell storyline, not necessarily the match, but the storyline itself that led to a Hell in a Cell match was, do you remember Armageddon 2000? 6-man Hell in a Cell match.
The one where
and then, like,
Rikishi fell off when there was a random
Yes.
truck with hay.
Yeah, correct. Okay, so like why I love that was going into that pay-per-view, right? Months and months of build-up, right? There was 3 separate rivalries going into it. Triple H and Stone Cold had their issue because Triple H ran over Stone Cold, right? So there was that whole that. Then after that, The Rock and Rikishi had their issue. I did it for The Rock. So it's kind of running parallel, but it's like their own separate feud. And
Correct.
then you have the world title feud between Kurt Angle and Undertaker, because I remember this very clearly because before that Survivor Series, Kurt Angle enlisted the help of his twin brother Eric Angle to play posse on Undertaker, right?
Mm-hmm.
So all these 3 separate feuds, they are like, reaching like the pinnacle, like the climax, and then Mick Foley was like, you know what? We got to settle this by hook or by crook. This is going to end at Armageddon. And the only way to end it is to put all of you under one roof in a 6-man Hell in a Cell. And you're like, whoa, that's going to be fucking crazy. Yeah. So like the name of the pay-per-view is Armageddon. So it alludes to something that will be like really epic, really like hell's going to freeze over. But what exactly it is, then Hell in a Cell makes sense.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah. It's like not spoiling it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it is what it is. So and Clash of Champions, I guess, is another, one of those theme nights where you get a situation where every champion has to be forced to fight. So whether their storyline is compelling or not, we're going to see the match lah. So
yeah, that's true.
For better or for worse, here we go then. Before the actual show itself, I think the rumors came out that Nikki Cross, Shayna Baszler, and Nia Jax were not medically cleared to be on the card. The rumor is that it's COVID related.
Wow. Yeah. I've heard there was like a breakout, like a recent breakout among NXT talents.
Yeah.
And they might have come into contact with them, so they are self-isolating.
Oh, no.
Sucks, man.
Well, I hope everybody is healthy at the end of the day, That's most important. So, their matches got scrapped. And that's why maybe that led to some of the matches being a bit meh, or the outcomes being meh, as we will get to in just a bit. Kickoff show, Lucha House Party versus Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura. Does anybody care?
Yes.
Did you watch?
I care because I like Cesaro and Nakamura.
Yeah.
But I was eyeballing it. I didn't really watch it. Yeah. So that sucks.
I mean, Cesaro and Shinsuke retained their standard, right? Luchas still has their conflict. I don't think, like you, I didn't watch the full match, but I watched the highlights. I don't think they officially split on anything. They just had more tension. So that's been the story that they've been building for the past couple of weeks already. I don't know where that's leading.
Okay. Yeah, but the thing about it is like we were alluding towards like a unification match between the tag team titles, correct?
Not really. I didn't think that was going to happen. It just felt like...
Was it like a one-off?
Yeah, it felt like let's do something for the sake of doing something before the draft. Give everybody a taste of cross-branded action. Because talking about the draft, there was a commercial that played during Clash of Champions. The WWE 2020 draft is happening very soon. Time to shake things up a bit, huh?
In fact, I think it's happening next week, right? 9th of October.
9th of October, that's
Holy
right.
Crap. Yeah, so by the next time, next week's episode of Kick to the Gut comes out, we'll be talking about the draft, I guess.
And it starts on SmackDown, and then it continues on to Raw as well. So they're going to build towards the draft. I guess we'll, talk about that when the time comes, who needs to move, who needs to stay, that kind of stuff. But back on Clash of Champions, the first match, of course, is the match. I kind of knew this was going to be the first match because you need something hot to start the show, right? And these three can deliver Intercontinental Championship. Sami Zayn, AJ Styles, Jeff Hardy. I mean, what can I say? It's these three. You expect good things from them, crazy things from them, and I feel like they delivered. The problem is with all the screens and no live crowd, it just feels a bit wasted,
It's crazy because to me, right, like after 30 years of like ladder matches, man, like what else is there to expect? Like it's gonna be like a crazy car crash, there's gonna be like crazy ass stunts,
bumps,
but somehow in this match, there was something new and innovative that was used, that was implemented. Crazy,
I don't know whose idea it was, but it was like, even the commentators were like, this is the first time I've ever seen something like this in any match, let alone a ladder match, where Sami Zayn had the handcuffs, right? And he handcuffed Jeff Hardy, because Jeff Hardy has one of those, what do they call it, like a big hole.
It's like a huge, like earlobe hole, I guess.
Yeah,
from
where
the
he
handcuffs,
usually has I don't even know what it's called, a thing there. But for the match, he removes it. So Sami Zayn handcuffed his earlobe hole to the ladder.
Holy crap!
What? Okay, I have to give him that. I've never seen that before. And then Sami Zayn handcuffed himself to AJ Styles at one point. Then while they were on the ladder, he uncuffed it and then handcuffed AJ Styles to the ladder. While Jeff Hardy's carrying the ladder into the ring because it's stuck to his ear, right? I was like, holy shit, this was so weird.
That was like the funniest thing ever, man. Shit, man. Okay, but first of all, right, I am super into Sami Zayn's character right now. I don't know about you.
Okay, doesn't he look like a miniature Braun Strowman when Braun had hair?
No, but I'm thinking more of like, I think I talked about it before, like he looks like one of those dictators.
Che Guevara.
Che Guevara or like one of those like South American dictators. It's damn funny. And he's dressed like it as well.
Yeah. Well, him winning made the most sense. Like I said last week, he had to win because it legitimizes his, whiny. He's supposed to be this whiny character you hate, right? So him winning legitimizes his claims, and now he's just going to be rubbing it in everybody's faces. So when Jeff finally beats him for it, I don't know if Jeff is going to move on from this feud. Whoever beats him for it at least gets some of that heat.
Let's be honest, man. Like out of the three of them, the one with the most compelling character, or like the one that you're investing in the most, is technically Sami Zayn.
Yes.
I mean, okay, Jeff Hardy came back. He had that whole redemption angle with Sheamus and all that, but it's kind of like middle of the road to me. Like, it's like that. You're happy he's there, but like he's not doing anything crazy. I think AJ Styles has settled into the role of the veteran already. Maybe the days of his feuding at the top of the card might be over. Maybe now he's like slipping down to the upper mid card. Maybe that's what I call it.
I think it's fine. I think he's there to just make other people look good and put on great matches. He's definitely settled into that position where he's also kind of like the face of the company. I don't know if you realize, but he's in WWE commercials. Or partnered commercials. So I'm like, okay, so that's where he is. So he's probably getting, he's paid. So why would he care?
Yeah. I'm so happy for him because I think he's reached a point in his career where he's already established. He's a WWE guy. For the longest time, he was an outsider. And like in the 5 years that, it's a very short time, but he has like shown that he is as established and as great of a talent as the rest of the superstars that has been there longer.
And you can tell management or Vince McMahon sees that and wants to reward him by having him be the head or the face of all these different things, commercials and whatnot. So, I mean, of all the people, AJ Styles, I wouldn't have called it like to see him in a, don't know, whatever Cricket Wireless commercial or don't know what commercial. I was like, AJ Styles really? Because he doesn't really have the, the Rock or the Stone Cold vibe. But hey, he's made it work. So good on him.
I think he appeals to like the Southern fans, I guess.
Yeah, he's very like American, like, heartlands.
Very like Midwestern or like, Southerner, like Southern gentleman, that's what they call it, right?
Plus he has the soccer mom hairstyle, so...
so he appeals to like the soccer mom demographic, the kids. I think he has his appeal. I understand why people like him,
For
not,
sure.
Not to mention that he's a kick-ass wrestler. You take that out of the equation.
Yeah.
Come on, like...
Exactly.
Yeah, so he doesn't need it. He doesn't need this victory.
Okay, I don't want to say what is wrong, but what is lacking in Jeff Hardy's redemption story? Like, I mean, a redemption story like that, you'd think would be very compelling, but somehow, I don't know if you agree with me, but I felt his story with Sheamus was like, blah. And
do you know why? In my opinion, it's because it's been done before 10 years ago.
Right.
His redemption story was done with CM Punk 10 years ago. So it's like kind of old news.
Correct. And this time you don't have like CM Punk to really like stoke the flames. Because, okay, as much as I do enjoy Sheamus's work, I don't think he's as the same level of promo as CM Punk. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Jeff Hardy, in my opinion, like he's the same as Matt Hardy. Their run as the Hardy Boys was cool and all that, but they kind of like dropped off and got like stale at the early part of this decade. They reinvented themselves with the Broken Hardy universe. So if they're not using that, like to me, they're bland really. Like,
correct.
You get what I mean? Like they really, it's like, for example, the Fiend. They suddenly revert back to Bray Wyatt, and that's his character going forward. Then you're like, for what? I like the Fiend.
Like, not even Bray Wyatt, bro. I would say Husky Harris. Because Bray Wyatt was a compelling character, and I still think he is a compelling character. I just feel like it has to do with the way they cut promos. And Jeff and Matt have never been really strong promo guys. They just haven't. You know, like you look at Edge and Christian. To me, Edge and Christian, when they were coming up during the Attitude Era, right? They ooze the charisma, Captain Charisma. But I like Hardy Boys for their moves. They were cooler, right? But now they are no longer young and they are no longer like quote unquote Team Extreme. So it's like, okay, you need to come up with something else, like something compelling. And they just, I feel like they don't have it. Of course, with the Broken stuff, it was just all weird and crazy shit and they really bought into their nonsense. So you kind of went along for the ride. But now that they're just being themselves in separate companies, it's like...
You have to lean into like, you know, like your character. Okay, what make those wrestlers really compelling is they really pump up and twist up their character to 100%.
Yeah.
The problem with wrestlers nowadays, I do not know why, as they get older or what, they just seem to just want to be themselves. And like themselves is not entertaining. I'm not saying anything like they are great people, right? But that can be done behind the scenes. You can talk about that like on WWE Untold or all their documentaries. But when they're in a wrestling ring, play up your character, man. Like be that cool thing, you know, that people want to watch.
Well, the rumor is he wants to bring Willow to the SmackDown or maybe even Raw, but I guess we'll have to wait and see for that. Like, he definitely needs to move. Talking about the draft, right? I think Jeff could do with a move to Raw. At least freshen him up a bit.
I think Raw is kind of underfed with talent. Like they kind of need more star power there. So I might even think that if Jeff Hardy goes to Raw, he can even go up to WWE contention, WWE title contention.
Really? Against Drew? Against your Randys? Against...
I feel like not against a babyface champion.
Yeah.
Against a heel champion.
champion.
I mean, have you seen a Jeff Hardy Seth Rollins feud yet? I think that would be quite interesting though. We've never seen that before. Yeah. Yeah,
and I think with Seth, he's such a strong heel now with his character work as well. I think it could work. He could play on Jeff's demons and do it right. Like I know they did it with Sheamus, but I think Seth could do it better.
Yeah,
but anyway,
correct.
Seth is a whole other thing we should talk about later. Okay, next, let's move on. Drew Gulak wins the 24/7 championship, whatever, time filler.
No one cares. Yeah. Okay, before we go to the next thing, you can continue talking for sure, but I have to do the thing that I didn't do last week as well, which is my temperature.
Report your temperature, bro. Take your temperature twice a day. I already did it earlier, so it's all good.
Sorry, you have to fly solo. I'll just take my laptop.
No worries, bro. It's kind of what I do on a daily basis, isn't it? Anyway, the next match, of course, is Zelina Vega versus Asuka. I mean, we even talked about it last week on the show as well. Zelina Vega, even though we know that they like her, we know that they want to push her as a character on Raw, but there was no way that Zelina Vega was going to win the championship against Asuka. What I was surprised, I thought this was going to be a short-term sort of a one-off feud, like, okay, one match and you're done. No. So they did this whole thing where after the match, Asuka wanted to show respect to Zelina Vega. She bowed to Zelina Vega, and Zelina Vega was like, nah. Hey, no, sorry. Asuka wanted to shake Zelina's hand. Zelina wanted to bow. And then when Asuka bowed, Zelina was like, nah, playing up the whole, I'm a disrespectful heel, which I get. And I guess that they are moving ahead with this feud.
Correct. Well, she's new, right? She's really new to like the title scene. I feel they should have built her up a bit more, like repackage her or like reintroduce her as like a singles wrestler.
Yeah.
Because I think she was just suddenly pushed to the moon, beat Mickie James, and then suddenly she's in contention.
Correct.
And wasn't really feeling that, right?
Yeah, like I feel like maybe like you, she should have like had a few more high-profile wins. Maybe beat some members of the Riot Squad, some other Raw women here and there. So anyway, we have a guest waiting to come in on our show. Foreign in the building. But we also, like we mentioned last week, have a guest on the show. I'm going to let him in.
Are you going to let him in?
Yes, of course.
He can join us.
If we don't let him in, he will smash through the door. He's so big.
Of course. Destroyer Dharma, hello.
Hey, the Destroyer's in the house. How are you, bro?
I'm fine. How are you guys?
We're good,
so
man.
long.
We're
We're
good.
supposed to do this like a month ago
Couple
or
of weeks.
more than a month ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
The last pay-per-view, I remember we were asking you to take a look at it, right?
Yeah. Actually, I went the previous pay-per-view. Actually, I don't know if you guys know this guy. He's the host of the show Interviews with Butcherman. The host Daniel alias right.
Oh, that fella. Yeah.
My good friend. Yeah. So I went to watch it with him.
Oh,
But Daniel is
Oh.
not his real name. Daniel is his alias.
Right.
He's literally Daniel alias, aka alias. His alias is Daniel alias. Get it?
Right. Yes.
He don't want anyone to know his real name. So I can't say.
So, okay, the funny thing is, right, you're friends with him, but you and Butcherman don't really see eye to eye.
Oh, Daniel is not Butcherman, what?
Yeah, I know, but
interview got both of them there.
but I know it's interesting that because like he is, interviewing the Butcherman, they are like quite chummy with each other, and yet you know what I mean? It's like you're friends with somebody, but he is friends with somebody you don't like.
Or your friend of your enemy doesn't have to be your enemy. So give and take a bit.
Right.
It's a good one.
It's okay to have that mutual friend in Daniel, lah. Is what you're saying.
So I can maybe like ask Daniel for some help. Then I can sabotage Butcherman along the way.
Oh.
Do we see a feud brewing again? A rekindling of a feud?
That would be good.
Yeah. So, I mean, we were just talking about Clash of Champions, of course, that happened this past week. Talking about wrestling, wrestling has slowly started back up in other countries, right? In the US. But of course, here in Singapore, we haven't seen any live wrestling for a while. So what have you been up to in the past few months?
Okay, basically, if we go back to the starting point, which is Circuit Breaker Phase 1 lah. So during Phase 1, I actually did like manual jobs. I was working in a warehouse. Because I've always wanted to, at some point in my life, do something laborious. Not just to know how those people feel, just to know what their life is like.
Right.
So I was doing there for 1 month plus. When Phase 2 started up, then I go back to my personal training. And my business picked up quite fast actually.
So when all the gyms closed down for Circuit Breaker, right? How did you maintain? Because I mean, obviously, someone like you, right? There's a lot of maintenance involved. So you don't have all the gym equipment. What did you, end up doing? How did you maintain your physique?
Okay, basically, to in layman's terms, I just throw money, buy a lot of equipment.
Oh.
Actually, I have a pretty complete gym in my home right now. This is actually my gym room.
Oh,
I can show you
okay.
guys a bit of my stuff. Okay,
All right.
You see here, like
We got personal tour right now.
So this is all my weights.
Oh.
Because I lift quite heavy weights, deadlift, squat, everything, bench press. So I needed all this. Then I got my dipping bars here. Not sure if you can just so I can just put them side by side. I can do this.
Correct.
My Olympic bar. It's my easy bar. Over here. Then my bench.
The whole structure.
Yeah. The bench is
So
over
in
there.
my
There you
bench,
go.
These special dumbbells. So it's this is actually 40 kg dumbbells. But you can just adjust, you just turn this knob, right? You can take out, you can 5, you can 7.
Correct.
So there's
you can,
like
you can change the weight lah.
Yeah, so there's many weights. 5 kg, 7, 9, all the way to 40.
Right. The fellas who live below you must be cursing every night lah.
I always put the weights down slow.
What's that?
I always put the weights down slow.
Okay,
I'm very particular about it.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, I got a question. Like, how much do you actually invest in all of that? Because I don't know. I don't have a figure in my head like how much like a weight costs. So can you give us a ballpark figure?
Yeah, I can see easily in the thousands.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I can do the math. My special dumbbells, right? That one itself is about $450.
Wow.
My Olympic bar is 100 plus. My bench is 200 plus. My weight plates, right? Every plate is about. They're actually selling for $3 per kg.
Oh,
really?
Over here, there's easily enough weight to make like 200 plus kg.
Right. So you do the math.
Not all of that is mine.
Yeah.
4 of the plates are loaned to me by my physio.
Oh, okay. So still,
okay.
I mean,
this is very interesting.
yeah, that is a sizable amount of money you... Well, I don't want to say spend because at the end of the day, this is kind of your business. So it's money you've invested. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, of course, because I'm also doing my mobile gym van, right? So if I want to do any outdoor sessions, I just bring some of these items into my van.
Right.
So, I don't need a gym for my sessions anymore. I even do that.
So carrying around these weights basically is a workout on itself, lah.
Yeah, sort of. Having to bring everything down before my sessions.
Yeah.
In fact, this is not all the equipment. Some of it is in my van.
Yeah, tell us about this mobile gym van, because from what I understand from our last conversation, I know that you do personal training like more or less full time, and like you have like your whole clientele. So like, is this mobile van like you bringing this to your clients to do it, or like it's just your own? Tell us more about it.
Okay, basically, I will fill up my van with whatever equipment needed for that day's training. Drive it to my client's nearest place, and then we'll work out outdoors lah.
Oh wow.
So preferably I'll do it at a car park. Sometimes maybe multi-story car park, the second highest floor. Because we have level ground and there's no other cars, nobody disturb, there's a shelter, so you can do a pretty good workout there.
So you literally do the workout wherever the van is, near the van lah.
Just beside the van lah. It's not very troublesome.
Right. It's an interesting concept to say the least.
Yeah. How do you think up of it? This is pretty cool, I think.
Okay, you see, the reason I have a van is that I leased it on a long term for 3 years because I was doing some other business. Yeah, but the business kind of it didn't work out. And then I was now left with this van. And then I was thinking that towards circuit breaker, people were restricting the gyms and all that. And I was thinking, okay, I have some equipment with me. Why not I do a mobile gym van service? That's how the idea came about.
Oh,
wow. Okay, this is really cool. Yeah, so we've had like a couple of like wrestlers, that we've talked to from both promotions, like coming up with like their own business idea during circuit breaker. Some open like food business lah. Some started doing very interesting odd jobs lah. So like, was it always your intention, like even if circuit breaker didn't happen, would you have had this idea of having a mobile gym van, or this idea like literally came because of circuit breaker?
I did already have the idea because I used to have a group class as well. So I was thinking, okay, it's not so bad. I can buy equipment and enhance my existing group class. But then when circuit breaker happened, it became like, hey, I can do my one-on-one trainings this way as well.
Got it.
Right.
This is really cool. Yeah.
That's the thing about the circuit breaker. It forced a lot of us who had plans, who wanted to do things but never had the opportunity or time to do it, to finally just get down to do it, right? Because our regular lives had been impacted so like, as you know, I started streaming video games on Twitch, Mr. Young 98. Go follow.
Yeah, but you guys, your podcast as well. No, now it's on YouTube. It's so cool.
Yeah.
I really like this idea.
Yeah. And now we are doing a video version of the podcast. And season 3 is going to be even bigger. You guys just watch. We just have to figure out the technical stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, you see, now with this video as part of your podcast, right, it brings a whole new element to your podcast.
Correct.
It's like people get to see who's talking.
Exactly. And when we talk to the wrestlers as well, I mean, because we can't really, go back into the studio to do our recordings, not for now anyway. At least this gives sort of everyone, inside look into, who we are talking to and stuff. So yeah, it's definitely a next level thing that we've done.
Personally, I feel this is better. I think you shouldn't change back.
Shouldn't change back, huh? Also easier for all the guests, so they can just chill out at home. You can show off your whatever you have as well.
Yeah, I mean, all the viewers got to see my home gym today.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it wouldn't have happened.
Exactly. We got to see it. Maybe we should have you do a workout also on the podcast.
My Facebook have a lot. I do post my workouts often.
Yeah.
No, but we should plug your social media so that, if anyone is interested in following you and like getting to know more information, can you share with us where they should, check you out on Instagram or Facebook?
Okay, my Instagram, at Danny Dharma. My Facebook is Danny Dharma. Very easy to find.
So, DANIEDHARMA. Am I correct?
Yeah, correct.
All right. So like, if anyone's looking for like some personal training, and you wanna, get the help of one of SPW's most famous physiques. Sorry, I'm trying to pretend that I'm like Dharma. Yeah. So you should check you out, right?
Thanks a lot. I really appreciate it.
No, for sure.
Problem.
No, we appreciate you taking the time out to chat with us as well. And, with the whole circuit breaker affecting the local wrestling scene, right? I mean, we don't know when you guys are going to start doing shows again. Have you been, just basically spending your time watching wrestling now, or are you sort of like taking time away from it to do your other stuff?
Honestly, I've been just working all the way. Because normally, if I have a choice of talking an hour of work and not doing so, I'd rather do the work.
Right.
I mean, being a personal training session and all that, I'd rather just go. So I've been very busy. Always come back late, and also do my own workout, which takes me about 3 hours.
Right. So essentially, the hustle never stops, lah.
Yeah. Because I wanted to actually catch up with the product, WWE especially. I wanted to start watching and get to know what's what. It was a very good start when I watched SummerSlam with my friend Daniel alias aka not his real name.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, now this is what's going on now. I want to see more. But then I just got busy again.
Oh, okay. What do you think of the Thunderdome concept?
Or you mean Thunderdome is in the everyone is like, all the audience are in the Zoom, right?
Yeah, on the screens, like the bots.
Yeah, I thought that really changed the whole dynamic of it. So it does feel like there is an audience there.
Correct.
As close as you can get to a real show already now.
Yeah. I mean, you compare that to AEW, they've started to allow small pockets of crowds in. But, it's funny to me, like, I still feel like they shouldn't take the risk.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like people in the US are not taking it seriously.
Yeah. And WWE being the huge global company that they are, I think they realize, okay, we need to commit this amount of money to building this thing because we need to be seen as the ones who are playing it safe. Even though we know that backstage, like they got a couple of wrestlers who gonna COVID already. So
yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah.
If you think about it, right, this virus is like if you've seen the movie 28 Weeks Later.
Yeah. Good movie.
And the same thing, one guy bite the next, one guy bite 10 guys, 10 guys bite 100 guys, and so on. So this one spreads the same way. It's just that you don't get to be a cool zombie lah. You just get sick and go hospital lah.
Yeah, exactly.
So people should take that in consideration. They should try to avoid crowds as much as they can.
Yeah.
And, just take the precautions lah. Just tahan a bit. Once the pandemic's over, you don't have a virus, then we cannot get back to normal life. No need to wear masks and all.
Yeah.
Hello.
Can I just say one thing? One reason you should follow Danny Dharma on Instagram and Facebook is because I love your social media posts when you shit on normal people or idiots.
Not normal people.
Do very, very stupid things. Because I remember very clearly one of the first things that you commented about, like when Circuit Breaker first happened, right? It's like, wow, suddenly everyone now become jogger, all go running at the reservoir. And then I love the way you just shit on these kind of people. So do you get triggered by idiots, or like it's just your way of just trolling all these people?
I mean, my real intent, right, is that because I do have quite a reach. My bodybuilding circle, my wrestling circle, and all that. So sometimes certain people need to say certain things. Then only it will occur to certain people like, hey, actually what I'm doing is very stupid. I mean, if a normal regular person just posts on his Facebook, wow, so many COVID runners and all, I think no one's gonna care. But someone like me says something, it will get people's attention.
Yeah.
So at the time when I made this post, right, I was really hoping that people will really start taking it seriously. Because I didn't like going out wearing a mask, having all these restrictions, but I know it's necessary because there is this thing going on. I was hoping that our Singaporeans will cooperate and together eradicate this, then get back to normal life. So still doing my part in that sense.
Your civil service much appreciated. But the entertainment value also is next level. So I think a lot of the Dharma Destroyer character came in those posts. So
I was trying to also say it in a sarcastic, funny way. So it will catch on to people. They will remember.
Right.
They'll think about it.
Yeah. Can you share with us about can you talk about you have two separate circles? So you have your bodybuilding circle of friends, and then you have your wrestling circle of friends. How do each circle approach maintaining their fitness during this period? Because obviously for bodybuilding, there's a huge emphasis on the gym and with working on the weights, and then wrestling is a whole other form of workout. So what are the differences in terms of maintaining both kinds of fitness?
If we talk about wrestling, wrestling for the good part is a skill. A flip bump is a flip bump, running a rope, doing a slam, doing a slam. So, you learn how to do it. But then still a good part of wrestling is your own physical conditioning. Imagine you run the rope, leapfrog, lift someone, slam, run over them, bounce on the rope. All these things still take a lot of stamina, need strength. So it will still come back to the physical training. And of course, bumping and conditioning to taking a fall, that's another thing altogether.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
So that one, you can recondition yourself when you have more time to train.
Okay. What about the bodybuilders that you know of? Like, are they all like setting up home gyms right now? How has it been for them?
Okay, the bodybuilding circle, right? There were various guys, they were doing their own things. Some of them bought gym equipment. Some of them just stopped training. Some of them were like doing workouts but without equipment.
Body weights.
So,
Body weight.
all doing their stuff. And it was quite interesting. So it was a good chance to learn for everybody to learn from everybody.
Right.
So like I could watch some of their videos and I could see that, this is one idea I could do for let's say for triceps. Without equipment I could do this. Because even though I'm quite well read, I wouldn't have seen everything until I see some of these people doing what.
Yeah.
Would you say your physique, did it change drastically during this period, or you did manage to maintain it even with the different types of workout that you were approaching?
Ironically, I got better.
Oh.
Wow.
My physique improved.
Is it because the access to the gym is like much closer? You literally live where you work out now?
Yeah, so I work out like the same, like 4 times a week.
Right.
Very, very heavy. Maybe only my leg training had a bit of issue. Because if I want to squat 200 kg, it's a bit scary to do it at home. I can show you my squat stand.
You just...
Sorry guys.
No worries.
This is my squat stand.
Okay.
So a regular squat cage. Okay, now I have a squat cage. See this thing behind the background? I see this.
Wow.
That's a squat cage. But before I had that, I only had the squat stands.
Right.
So if you want to go heavy on the squats with that, it's very scary. If you cannot keep it down, then my tiles are gone next.
Correct. Yeah. And then your downstairs neighbors will be like, "Wow, jalan, like, what the hell?"
You might even go through the
gets
wall.
A free barbell.
You might even go through the floor.
Yeah, that's why.
Oh no.
I couldn't push my legs that hard. But otherwise, my back, my chest, upper body, everything improved.
So, but now that we've moved into phase 2 and everything, are you back to the gym or are you continuing with these home workouts?
I've been going back to the gym. But actually, when phase 2 first started, I wanted to be a responsible citizen. So I actually continued most of my workouts from home. I only started to go to the gym like a few weeks later.
Okay.
Okay, that's great.
I had to, of course, for my personal training clients, I still have to go. I don't go to the condo gym or what. But I'm just trying to contribute.
Right.
So for these days, I get very busy, right? So sometimes I can't work out at the gym. It's just late. I'll come home and work out. So now I never miss a workout anymore.
I got a question. So how did you connect with like your clients during circuit breaker? I mean, other than meeting them like through the gym van, that was like much later, I assume. But like the initial phases, was it a lot of Zoom sessions? You training them over there?
No, I didn't do the Zoom sessions because I felt like, as a trainer myself, I felt like that would be in a way. Okay, you see, like from your camera angles and stuff, there's only so much you can see.
Yeah.
So I might not be able to fully tell if their joints are moving correctly, the biomechanics and all. So I thought it's a bit more of a risk than rather that I give them a plan and tell them to just do it. But something simple when it's safe, they can do at home.
Yeah.
And then we get back to much more harder training when we need.
Yeah, I feel like that would be the more responsible thing to do because you are right, like especially when you're talking about heavy weights too. If the form is off, then you risk a lot of things, right?
Yeah.
Then let's talk about like wrestling itself. Like, because you can't wrestle during this period, what is the one thing that you miss the most about wrestling?
Okay, of course, the feel of the ring, you guys would have a rough understanding, want to do the rolls, running the ropes, climbing the ropes, jumping off and all that. You can't mimic that anywhere else. It has to be a ring.
Yeah, that's true. What about performing in front of crowds? That's
that's another high altogether.
Yeah. A lot of wrestlers that we talk to, they miss I think the performance aspect of it, and especially we don't have a timeline of when that will happen, right? What's your thoughts on, like, even if you come back, like, you won't really be able to have crowds per se for now.
Not till next year, even, you know.
I don't know lah, but I'm also thinking that as much as I miss it, right, I think we still have to take care of the rest of the population, make sure that you don't have all these virus spreading around anymore.
Right.
Actually, I think for now Singapore is not so bad. The figures are not going up so high.
Yeah.
But one thing I don't understand, why is the government allowing people from China and India back in when the cases are so high over there?
Yeah, if I'm not wrong, it's like they're using it for like only business travels, right? Like not like.
And also, their cases
like
haven't been too bad. It's the US and Europe that are really suffering now.
I think India is second highest maybe.
Yeah. India as well. Yeah.
Many
That's
people
crazy.
who came back have been positive.
Mm.
Even there was even that 1-year-old kid who was positive
Yeah.
not too long ago.
I mean, you know,
It's tough.
yeah, we can't really control like outside our borders, but at least we can control what happens inside, and you know, everyone just needs to be responsible, lor.
I think the authorities have to be responsible as well, not put their own citizens in danger by allowing people from danger zones to come in.
Right. Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying. Yeah. So, okay, on the topic of wrestling, I mean, let's go back to SummerSlam, right? You watched SummerSlam. Who really stood out? What storylines stood out to you? Because you haven't watched Clash of Champions, right?
Yeah, I haven't.
Right. So from SummerSlam onwards, like, who really, you know, got your attention?
Okay, I was watching SummerSlam. It's been a while. I watched most of the matches.
Yeah.
I will say, shucks, I can't remember it so well right now. I remember there was a ladies match which I really enjoyed.
Okay, let me pull up the SummerSlam card.
Are you talking about Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville?
Okay, it's not that one. That was a terrible match.
The other one.
Bailey, Asuka.
My friend Daniel Elias didn't tell me not to watch that match. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there was Bailey versus Asuka, and then Asuka versus Sasha Banks because she was.
Yeah, that's the match. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I felt like it was a learning match. I felt like I could learn things from that match, like the way they sell.
Really?
Right. Yeah. Well,
are you more of a fan of Asuka or like Sasha Banks? Who's like your favorite female wrestler right now?
Future lah, because I only just got reintroduced to them. And that was like the first time I've seen them in action.
Okay, so what was the learning things that you were able to pick up from that match?
Like the way they sell the expression, like their selling is so good that at some points in the match, like you will just subconsciously just start to think that, hey, is this person injured? Did something go wrong? That's very good wrestling to me.
I mean, that's the magic of wrestling, right? Making it believable. That's why it irks the hell out of me when you have AEW doing all this nonsense, ridiculous jumping off of, triple moonsault, whatever, flying burrito shit, and then they stand up immediately. It's like, God damn it, just take a moment to sell the pain. Sell that was such a devastating move. But anyway, let's not get started on that.
Once young starts, you won't stop.
I don't know lah. Personally, I feel like wrestling has changed a lot. People now, we all know that it's a choreographed show, it's a lifestyle show. So I think it's okay if they do some crazy stuff like that lah. I mean, I did see some of those matches with the Young Bucks and those Mexican guys. It was
Lucha Bros.
Yeah, correct. Lucha Bros. Yeah. So I saw that match and I was thinking, okay, this is something different. It's very, very high octane. It will keep you in an elevated state for the whole match. The audience will get more tired than the people.
Yeah, but that's the problem.
And
we've talked about it before as well. You keep that sort of a pace the entire match, and then the next match is similar, and then 2 matches down is the similar type of match. By the time you get your main event, everyone's tired already. Everyone's worn out. So the pacing has always been an issue for me when it comes to AEW. But now, obviously, they fixed it. It's not so bad. They rely less on these ridiculous high spots, high octane matches, and more on storytelling. Which, at the end of the day, isn't that what pro wrestling is about? It's telling a story, right? It's not who can do more flips. Unless your storyline is who can do more flips, then
Dharma, also one more thing. You talk about like some of the wrestlers that you've been reintroduced to. Like, what's your thought on Drew McIntyre? Because he's like the main champion right now on Raw, and he's been champion for a while since WrestleMania. He's a heavyweight, so like probably your alley.
Okay, one thing people
Like
don't know
more
about
of your alley, right? Yeah.
one thing people don't know about Drew McIntyre and me and my impression of him, right? Drew McIntyre was one of the guys who were during the era where I started to not watch WWE anymore.
Oh, okay.
Back then he came out, then he's like this very normal looking guy, a bit very. Then I was looking at his matches now, like, wow, why are these kind of people wrestling now? Like, I don't see it here. So that was when I used to watch WWE and I stopped.
Right.
So now when I saw him come out, I'm like, wow, okay, this guy is really putting an effort to really reinvent himself. Now I really like the way he is.
Yeah.
I like his wrestling. Everything is very good. I enjoyed the match.
Yeah.
What is it about? Okay, so like, it's interesting that you mentioned that you haven't been watching for a while, and then SummerSlam, you watch, but after that, not so much. Is it more of life got in the way, or is it because just the product is just meh? It's just okay only. It's nothing really like grabs you. What is it?
No lah, it's really life got in the way.
Oh, okay.
Because I've learned to appreciate lah. Because I watch the product and I watch it now more as a wrestler than a fan.
Oh,
so when I look at the stuff they do, right, I'm just awed by everything. Wow, he can do that, he can do this. Wow, he get thrown out so nicely. I look at it that way. I don't really look at it anymore as like I just sit down, do nothing. I just see that lousy lah,
Yeah.
As a fan, I mean, I was a fan before, and when watching as a fan, I would see it very differently also.
Yeah.
As a wrestler, what is it that you try to pick up when you're watching wrestling matches? Is it more of like, how they do their psychology? Is there any wrestling moves that you can learn from them? So what exactly are you analyzing?
Yeah, I will see the moves, of course. I see like how they do it and all, but I look more into the in between stuff. After they take a move, how they sell, how they look at the audience, how they connect with the audience. That's actually much more important. When I was new, I didn't know about this. The later part, then I started to look at the audience, and because when I look at the audience, I look at somebody in the audience, I know that there's a need to tell them the story.
Yeah.
See, if I'm like the guy just start and like pissed off, I look at the audience, then I look pissed off. Then it just comes naturally from there.
That's true. We spoken actually last year, right? When you came on the show last season, and we talked about how you could showcase more of like your viciousness, because like I think one of our comments was the way you were attacking your opponents, like you still came across like a very nice guy. So like the moves, there wasn't like that devastating impact. But I think after the conversation that we had, you really became a monster in your matches. So I think you had a very physical match with Big Good Jack. Your match with Daniel when you won the SPW Championship was really hard hitting as well. So those are like little things that I thought really like brought your character up to another level. Do you think there's any other thing that you want to work on to even reach a higher ceiling? What's next for the Destroyer character?
Yeah, for me, what I've been thinking was, I thought of adding a few more moves into my moveset, like all kinds of suplexes, because I think I'm one of the guys who can do all this. Let the audience see lah. And also improve on my selling a bit more, have more audience interaction, and more vicious kind of striking kind of thing.
Cool.
But honestly, I have to say lah. Sorry.
Continue.
Okay, because people like Daniel Elias are not butcher man. Daniel,
yes,
he has also played a very big part in helping me to put myself together, become a better wrestler. He gave me a lot of very, there are some people who will criticize for the sake of it. They just want to say something bad to feel good about themselves. But he was giving me a constructive criticism, telling me that, okay, you work on this. And then I also got to work with him like 3 good matches. The championship match, the triple threat, and the no disqualification match. Right? So that's not him. That's Butcher. Different.
No, he's the other guy. Yeah.
So
I've always
So given he teach me that, I work with him. Sorry. So I think a bit laggy. I don't realize you're talking after a while. Okay, but why don't you go first?
No, I've always thought that someone with like your size, right? A great thing to like show dominance would have been like a submission move. So when I see someone like Lashley, suddenly he does the full Nelson, like the master lock,
the hurt lock.
back in the day. It's very impressive because you're doing it. You know, if like a small size guy does it, like okay, whatever. But like if a huge hulking figure does it and like it's like grinding down, not only is it like an easy move to pull off for you, there's like not a lot of effort on your side, but it just visually looks like really, really appealing, and you get to do that grinding down on the opponent. That'll be great for your character. So you talk about like your suplexes and all that. Like, have you ever thought about like adding submissions to your arsenal as well?
I did, but I didn't give that much thought to it. But then now that you guys mentioned, right, I will give it more thought. I also thought about this before. I think it's a very good idea.
Yeah, I can imagine just you doing a full Nelson on somebody and it would look devastating. Like you would, because of your physique, because of your size. Can you imagine that? The stories you could tell. Well, maybe not specifically the full Nelson, but it has to be some sort of a thing where you're using your arms and just crushing on somebody's head or something like that, you know?
Another way around it, right, is to do a submission that requires a lift, a power type of submission.
Oh, yeah, like a lifting double chicken wing or something like that.
Torture rack, or maybe even just
torture rack. Yeah,
torture rack is pretty dope. Do you know? Do you remember Brock Lesnar's submission that he used to do, the Brock Lock?
Oh my God! Yeah.
Is it basically a bear hug?
No.
It was a leg lock.
Okay. I know there's some kind of a back, the arm behind the back one, right? Something like that.
So if like the opponent's on the ground, like flat on his front, right? He takes the leg, then he wraps it around the back of his neck, and it looks like pretty crazy. Yeah.
I believe
it's like
called
a reverse scorpion like that.
Isn't it called a stretch muffler?
Yeah, could be.
Oh, I just went all Excalibur on you.
Yeah. You just went like amateur wrestling shit on me. But
in fact, when you're saying submission, I did think about a move with the person's leg going over my neck, but I couldn't put a finger on it what it was called, and you guys have said it already.
Yeah, it's called the Brock Lock.
Oh, okay.
The Brock Lock.
Yeah. If I don't know what's like the amateur wrestling name for it, but I remember it was called a Brock Lock, and I always wondered why Brock Lesnar stopped using it, because it looked so devastating. Especially he did it on. You guys remember Zach Gowen?
Oh yeah. The one-legged wrestler. Yes.
Imagine he did it on his one good leg.
Yeah, like
crazy, man.
Walao.
Yeah. So like,
I mean, not thought about him for a long time. Now that I've already been in the ring, I know what it's like. I'm just so much more impressed with him being able to do all that in one leg.
Yeah,
that's crazy, right?
Yeah.
So has there been any news coming out of SPW in terms of like, future announcement and all that? Because from our last conversation with Trexers, they said they have been hinting on it. Do you have any idea what's going to happen? Coming up next for SPW?
Me, I have no idea
Well, it really depends.
They started training again,
It really depends on the authorities at the end of the day, right? Whether they will allow gatherings and stuff like that. But like we talked about, for the sake of the health of everybody, I think that, maybe not so soon lah. Unless some billionaire wants to pump in the money and build a local Thunderdome for us,
Peter Lim, where are you?
Peter Lim, yeah, come on, man. Duchet Thunderdome or something like that. Let's go.
Oh, that'd be funny, man. What about you, Dharma? Like, what's like if you were to be able to start wrestling again, like maybe next week, right? What is the feud or wrestler that you want to work with, and the story that you want to tell when you're making your return to the ring?
Probably my story is gonna be. I was thinking again. I just took my first loss, so my next storyline is like, I'm motivated never to lose again. Or something like that. They become like much more aggressive because of that.
Oh.
It's like a descent.
I want to work with. I don't know.
All right. So it's like a descent into like some sort of madness or anger because like you keep, taking losses, right?
Yeah, it's like how dare I lose? I'm not supposed to lose. I can't lose, and then all of a sudden that vicious streak comes out. I like it.
Yeah, it'll be pretty dope.
It'll be nice if I work with someone who's like really much bigger than me.
Oh.
Someone like Wham Bam Bellows. Then you can do something different.
I was just about to say, there aren't that many people bigger than you.
Because I worked with him before, and I actually found that he's very, very easy to work with.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but I mean, for that to happen, he would have to fly down here, and not a lot of people are flying. So, yeah lah, that one have to, wait and see, I guess, too, huh?
Yeah.
If not, it would be nice if I be part of group matches, fatal 4-way or 6-man matches or something like that.
Yeah.
Just, try other stuff.
Yeah. Do you enjoy that? Like, is it more of a challenge as a wrestler to fight in like multi-man matches?
No, actually, when you have multi-man matches, it's a bit easier because everybody has more or less time and all that, and everybody takes turns to sign and stuff, right? So you can do your own part much better.
Right. Huh.
Got it.
So, okay. Moving forward, what are your plans? Are you going to stick to what you're doing now, or do you have anything else on the horizon?
You mean career or?
Yeah, career-wise. I mean, the wrestling, as we all know, is akan datang wait and see on hold right now, right? So, anything else?
Career-wise, I'll be continuing my personal training.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just keeping an open mind, just seeing what other stuff there are. I've been doing a lot of every now and then do small roles for TV shows.
Yes, I saw. Is it mostly like Tamil shows on Vasantham, or do you have any other projects that you would like to share with us?
That you can, yes.
Mostly I've been doing English on the English side, not so much on one. Just that the last one happened to be like 2 days ago. That one was.
Oh, okay. What English productions are you working on? Or you can just share briefly what are they about?
What I've already done, there was this let me see. Okay, there's a show called BRA, BRA. It's about breast cancer. Yeah.
Oh, right.
Okay. Yeah. So there was one episode where I came in as a leader of a biker gang.
A leader of a biker gang?
Yeah. Wait, what?
I don't even ride a bike.
What is exactly was this storyline?
Yeah.
I'm intrigued.
The hero comes in then he finds trouble with my group, and then I go and beat him up or something like that.
Oh no. Okay.
So my roles have always been like that, very simple stuff. Like if you see the workforce video for Singapore, I actually did a spoof of Dwayne Johnson as a Baywatch. It's like wearing the red shorts and running along the beach.
Right, yeah.
Oh, that's quite
when
fun.
in black as well, I was like Will Smith.
Nice.
So kind of small stuff.
Do you enjoy this doing this acting role? Because a lot of wrestlers, as we know, go into acting or dabble in acting. How do you find this line of work?
Actually, I would much rather do fight scenes with stunt elements rather than to just do the small work.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that makes sense too, because it kind of is what wrestling is about in a way. I mean, I'm not saying that wrestlers are stuntmen. I'm just saying, there's that physicality, element.
It's a lot more similar than anything.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I also went for stunt training.
Oh, okay.
It was Action Horizon stunts, right?
Right.
The ones who do the show at MBS.
Yeah.
So I actually went for their training a few times.
Oh, wow. Cool.
So
yeah.
What I found, the basics of stuntmen for movie stunts, basics all the same as wrestling. The rolls and the bumps and all that.
Tucking your chin, taking a bump, all that kind of stuff.
Correct.
Wow.
So what differs, is that they will have a different kind of bumps. For example, you're taking an explosion. So, you fly, then you roll. So you have those kind of bumps, which you normally don't use in wrestling.
Yeah.
Then there are strikes and kicks and all, right? You don't contact.
Right, yeah.
And kicks will all be about camera angle and selling your head in the correct direction.
Correct.
Whereas for wrestling, we make connections. We hit.
Yes.
We really hit.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Well, I will dare say in wrestling, we also have to take bumps and roll away from explosions as well. Certain situations,
not so much.
Yeah.
The ring how small only.
Yeah.
Well, that is true.
Yeah, and plus in wrestling too, it's also you have to do the acting, you have to do everything yourself, right? Whereas a stuntman, it's just you do the stunt, it cuts, and then the actor does the acting. So
unless you are the bad guy,
right.
You are fighting with the hero, then you get to act as well.
Okay.
Nice. Okay, I got one request, not request, maybe something I would like to ask Dharma in the future. if I were ever to do a music video that requires like a badass mofo like you
Big
beating
guy.
people up, and like it's like a rap video where it's like badass hip hop music and like you're the one that is beating people up, will you be interested?
Oh yeah, of course, sure.
I think like I suddenly when you were talking about like you be working with stunts and like doing all this kind of stunt work, in my mind I was thinking like, damn, Dharma rap music video, I think it would be quite dope.
Your next music video got explosions and shit fight scene all.
Might as well go big or go home, right? Go Dharma or go home.
Okay, you heard it first here on Kick to the Guy. Forward's next music video will include explosions and fight scenes because we had destroyed Dharma on the show.
Oh my god, that'll be damn dope, man.
Sounds like a plan.
It sounds like a plan. Okay. Thank you so much. Dharma, it's been quite a long conversation. I just didn't realize it's almost 45 minutes.
Well, these always go by fast, So thank you for dropping by and chatting with us. It's always good to catch up, with the wrestling fraternity here in Singapore.
No problem. Thank you guys for having me also. It's nice to come
and
back
also
after so long.
and also our 100th episode is coming right up in just about 3 more weeks.
Yeah.
So we would love if you guys can give us a shout out when the episode comes. So and we would just want to thank all the wrestlers who have been coming on the show as a way to thank all of you. We wanted to get some of you to do messages in the future. So we'll probably reach out to you with regards to that.
Sure, no problem. I'd be happy to give something.
All
Nice.
right. Okay.
For sure. Anyway, yes, Dharma, thank you once again for joining the show here. As I'm sure you must be super busy right now. I'm sure you are getting back to some personal training or maybe your own training now.
Yeah, mostly that's how my days pass.
Yeah.
3-4 sessions a day and then my own workout.
Woo!
That's crazy, man.
That's the
just
life.
spending
awesome.
all my time with iron objects.
You are the real Iron Man, bro. You're the real Iron Man. You got the, iron all around.
Iron Paradise.
Yeah, Iron Paradise. I like that. That's the Rock's gym, right?
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. He calls his gym the Iron Paradise. He wakes up at 4 a.m. to do weights. I'm like, I don't know how anybody does that shit. That's incredible discipline.
To me, I wouldn't work out at 4 a.m.
Plus you probably wake up your neighbors at 4 a.m. without lifting.
Because for me, I'm a competitive bodybuilder. I see very differently.
Oh.
I wake up at 4 a.m. and I work out. I don't have that much carbs in my system yet, so I can't train so hard.
Right.
I need to train after at least 2 meals.
Oh, okay,
It's
right.
very different.
You gotta fuel yourself out, right?
Right. Yeah. Totally different style of workout. Anyway, Dharma, once again, thank you for joining the show. We appreciate you and hope everything is great on your end as well.
So far, so good. I also hope everything is going well for you guys.
Oh yeah, everything's all good, man. For sure.
Just looking forward to the end of this pandemic.
Oh yeah.
And everything gets back to normal.
When we finally can get back together and enjoy what we enjoy. For you is wrestling, for us is watching live wrestling.
I think what I'll enjoy most is to go out of my house and not wear a mask.
Oh yeah, that too. Yeah, just the simple joys in life, just the simple things we take for granted.
Learn to appreciate so many things ever since circuit breaker. Think about it, right? A lot of companies actually started to realize that they can operate their business totally from people working from home.
Yeah,
People go to office.
It's changed a lot of mindsets.
I know some friends they no longer will go to office even if all these things is over. They will be work from home all the way.
Exactly.
Stay more productive.
Yeah. Because now they know that, you can just have a quick Zoom meeting or just, send an email. How many wasting time meetings have been cut off? I'm so happy.
Yeah.
And
the companies will save money also. They don't need to spend money on the procurement.
Yeah.
The office, the table, the extra aircon, the extra terminals, all of it.
Correct. Yeah. Anyway, okay, we're going to jump back into talking about Clash of Champions. Hey, do you want to stick around for this or do you have stuff to get to?
I can stick around, but I haven't watched the show, so
Oh, okay. This is cool. You can always chime in and let us know what you think about the story.
Yeah, we'll give your opinions on it.
So we were just talking about Asuka versus Zelina Vega. That feud is continuing. because Zelina Vega, even though she lost and Asuka tried to shake her hand, Zelina Vega disrespected her, you know? So and it carried on onto Raw as well. So are we excited that this feud is continuing?
If I'm only will get excited if Zelina Vega suddenly levels up in terms of a meanness character. Because my personal favorite to become the number one contender for the women's title is Bianca Belair.
But Bianca Belair, right now, we are only seeing her in vignettes. So it's like they're reintroducing her, repackaging her. But not really, because it's the same character. It's just that, we botched her entry into Raw. Let's just redo it, you know?
Yeah, Vega needs that. Vega needs those vignettes because I think she needs that character development.
Right.
But I personally love what Bianca Belair is doing because doesn't it remind you of Mr. Perfect's old sports vignettes?
Yes, and this is like a legit who she is. Like she is that's probably where the gimmick came from, right? She lifts the heaviest, she jumps the highest, she runs the fastest, the EST. Like I've mentioned it before, you know, they do the WWE
Breaking
Combine.
Ground.
Sorry, what?
Yeah, they had like a Breaking Ground, right? That's the name of that show.
No. Breaking Ground was like a reality show. Combine is like they copy the NFL Combine, so they got all the athletes to compete in exercising. Basically, who can do the most rows, who can lift the highest, who can throw the furthest. And Bianca Belair basically wins most of these categories, like the majority of them.
Was this featured on WWE Network?
Yeah, it was like a 6-hour show.
Wow, they legit really cover from the start to the end of the Combine.
Yeah. So it's like they're generating content out of stuff they would already do. So this is the brilliance of the WWE Network. They're literally taking everything, just them competing to see who can do the most rows or throw the medicine ball the furthest. They make that into content. So
that
and got commentators, everything.
Yeah, that's pretty dope. Very dope. I think you watch that. I'm gonna look for it soon.
Dude, it's boring. It's super boring. It's just 5 hours of people exercising. Go exercise yourself.
Might as well.
Yeah. That's that. Then we got Apollo Crews versus Bobby Lashley. Okay, I don't know if Dharma, you've seen much of the Hurt Business, but they are the hottest thing on Raw right now.
I've been seeing snippets of it Like, you know, I know Bobby Lashley, then a few other guys.
MVP is like the leader.
MVP. Yeah.
Bobby Lashley, Cedric Alexander, and Shelton Benjamin.
That's the guy.
Yeah.
Okay, so why Hurt Business is so dope, right? Is because we got the mouthpiece who can talk, which is MVP, the leader. Yep. And then we got like the big final boss in Bobby Lashley. Obviously, he's like the heavyweight contender in the team. And then we got Shelton Benjamin, which is, of course, the technical wrestler, one of the best technicians WWE has, naturally athletic guy. And then we have the high flyer and like the youngster that they're trying to groom, Cedric Alexander. Cedric Alexander just joined Hurt Business. He turned heel. I think he basically betrayed Apollo Crews and Ricochet to join into the Hurt Business. And as they say, business is booming with the Hurt Business.
Because they have essentially been the most compelling thing on Raw thus far. And the problem is here now that they are so happening, right? And obviously management sees that, so that's why they are feuding against Retribution suddenly. But that makes them the face in that feud. Meanwhile, they're the heels in another feud with Apollo Crews. And I'm sorry, but the Apollo Crews feud is boring, and Apollo is still bland. I know he's had some fired up promos recently, but he's still bland to me as a character, right? Him and Ricochet, and you know, they're doing the whole, you turn your back on us, blah blah blah. Like, it's not interesting.
Apollo got like a bit of hype for like maybe like 2 weeks. Yeah. And after that, after like 1 million Apollo versus Lashley matches, 1 million Apollo versus Cedric Alexander matches, I'm like, okay, I think time to move on. We need a new contender for the US title.
So, which brings me to Apollo Crews versus Lashley for the US title at Clash of Champions, right? I mean, it was a highly athletic match, lots of power moves, lots of amazing athleticism, but I didn't care. Like, I was watching it going, why don't I care about this? They're putting it all out there. It's a really hotly contested match. It's a good match. And Lashley won clean, no retribution inside. So I was like, okay, so it essentially felt like a match that had to be there because of the Clash of Champions stipulation. Every title needs to be defended. And there was nothing there.
I agree. And also, the reason why it's not connecting is because Apollo Crews is not connecting with the audience. It's as simple as that. I always talk about how the Attitude Era wrestlers. Every single wrestler had a story, had some sort of connection with the crowd. Even someone as nondescript as Grandmaster Sexay, you know, you still love him.
How is he nondescript? He is like the worm guy. No, not the worm guy. He's Jerry Lawler's son.
I would say in the hierarchy of like Attitude Era characters, like who is like the main event, he is like a fucking jobber. I mean, like, let's be honest, right? But he is super entertaining.
Yeah.
So so that's.
But Apollo is not entertaining.
He is not. There's a difference between a guy who can do really, really. Yes, please.
Sorry to interject, but you know the Attitude Era, right? Even their opening match, their mid-card match, everything is like better than some of the main events now.
Yeah. Exactly.
Then you could sit 2-3 hours, you won't get bored. Now I can't say the same.
Yeah, because back then it was really, they threw the playbook out of the window and just went. It was wild, like it was crazy. It was that, we talked about this before, that sense of chaos that anything can happen. Even like an Al Snow versus Steve Blackman match, hardcore match. It's like, they did what? You know?
Yeah.
And we just don't get that anymore.
Do you guys agree in this? Like Apollo Crews, his character, not his moveset, his character is like copy and paste of like maybe a Cedric Alexander before he became heel.
Dude, his character is copy and paste of Rocky Maivia. I'm the good guy. I'm athletic. I'm strong. Look at what I can do in the ring. Nobody's saying he's bad in the ring. He's amazing in the ring. The problem is the way they portrayed him. Like, I'm boy.
Yeah. So like,
nothing,
I feel like,
you know,
the reason why it doesn't connect, because he is not relatable in any way. He's a good guy that works hard, but like good guys that works hard are great, not on television or entertainment. You know, like this, it doesn't come across as compelling.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, right?
Yeah, and unfortunately, I feel like the Hurt Business are taking all the heat and just running away with it. Whereas it doesn't build Ricochet, another one who's being wasted on the main roster, and he's coming out and cutting these boring promos with Apollo, and I don't know, maybe they should just turn heel. Maybe they should join Retribution.
Why not? Yeah, I wouldn't mind.
Tell that story of like, hey, we've been the good guys, we've been hardworking, but you guys didn't even pay us any attention. Screw you, we're joining Retribution. We understand what Retribution is about. Isn't that the Retribution story?
That would be better, because all of them have the NXT connection.
Yeah.
Someone like Apollo Crews should be turning heel years ago, because he has been on the roster since 2016.
Yeah.
And he hasn't done shit. Name me one memorable Apollo Crews feud or match. Exactly. Exactly.
Okay, we spent a lot of time on Crews and Lashley already. Let's move on then. Andrade and Angel Garza versus the Street Profits. Street Profits won. Here's another one that it was like, okay, it's there because it has to be there.
Yeah, and they try to tell this story that, Andrade and Garza can work much better without a manager, without Selena Vega. Like, she was a distraction. But obviously, like, anyone can tell that the only reason why they were compelling was because of Selena Vega. Like, that alone sucks.
Yeah.
You know? So Garza tries to play the romantic, Lothario Casanova character, and then there's, but other than that, like who has he been flirting with? Charlie Caruso and like that Demi girl from Bachelorette.
Yeah, that's it.
What was the payoff?
So my question is then, what is Andrade without Zelina Vega now? Like what? He's just a badass wrestler. He's another.
Remember before he got together with Zelina Vega, he was not doing shit on NXT.
Yeah.
Like, he was really bland, very forgettable. He only went to title contention was because he partnered up with Zelina Vega. They became business partners.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why they separated Zelina Vega from him. Like, they can separate Zelina Vega from the group, fine. But she should have just chose a side and stick with Andrade. That would have been so much more compelling, right?
Meanwhile, they broke up the Iconics, but Billie Kay is still in Peyton Royce's corner. You know?
Oh, that's another issue. Yeah.
Huge logic lapses here.
But, a lot of flaws, yeah.
Yeah, the Street Profits retained, and it was another match that didn't have a lot of storyline or didn't have a lot of appeal going to it. And I mean, we've said it before, these four are amazing athletes. I wish that I gave a crap about this feud, but I don't. So
yeah, it's sad because I think Street Profits are really, really charismatic. Like you said, Montez Ford has one of the best frog splashes I've ever seen. Like the reverse frog splash is so dope. So like, so I feel like at the end of the day, they have the tools, they have the wrestling ability. They need good stories.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to say, they need good writers.
Yeah. I mean, okay, Dharma, when was the last time you remembered a good tag team storyline coming out of the WWE? You probably have to go all the way back to the Attitude Era, right?
Oh, by the time got a lot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So many, the Hardys, the...
Edge and Christian, Dudley Boys. Like, okay, well then what about, let's say, a Ruthless Aggression era? Were there any tag team feuds that really stood out to you?
Yeah, wait, that's the Triple H and Stone Cold, they were tag team at some point.
Oh, the two-man power trip. Yeah. Then the Brothers of Destruction.
Oh, that was one of the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
APA.
Even
APA, yes.
I was just watching WWE Network recently, and I saw this main event match between, it was a 6-man tag team.
Yeah.
Apparently, The Rock team up with APA to fight against Kurt Angle and Edge and Christian.
Damn.
So this was the period where The Rock was like WWE champion going into WrestleMania against Stone Cold, right?
Yeah.
And how they actually brought the match together was, I think I forgot who's the commissioner. I think it was Regal was telling The Rock, okay, you need to find 2 partners to fight in a 6-man match. If not, it's gonna be a handicap match. And then he was like, okay, fine, I'll go find someone. And then Regal's like, nah, no one likes you, no one wants to be with you, blah blah. And he said, you know, I'm gonna find someone that I have history with, something somewhere along those lines.
Yeah.
And then towards like the last segment before the main event, right before the main event, the last vignette, he basically walked into the backstage where they're all playing cards, right? And they had like that stupid standalone door. And he just walked past the door. And then Farouk and Bradshaw was like, do you guys hear someone walking in? I couldn't hear a knock. And I was like, I can't hear a knock. And then The Rock was like, oh, okay, fine. Then he like, knock. Hey, hi, how are you? And then they pretended that he was inside. It was so dumb. And like in that 3 or 2 minutes of like, you know, backstage clip, they solidified why he chose them as a tag team and made it compelling. And now I want to see that 6-man tag team match. Like, can you imagine how great it is to have that? All the characters coming together is amazing, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, that only just highlights the lack of sort of history with a lot of these tag teams that we see today. That's the one thing that AEW definitely has over WWE is proper tag teams, especially now with FTR. But that's another conversation altogether. We had more Drew Gulak, R-Truth 24/7 title nonsense. Again, it's gotten to a point where it's not even funny anymore. I'm sorry. Like,
it was old last year already.
Yeah, right. So give it this. I mean, okay, never mind. I feel like R-Truth has done the best he can with that gimmick. You know, now you threw in Akira Tozawa with his ninjas, and oh my God, did you see what happened on Raw?
With regards to the 24/7 title?
Yeah, Tozawa, quote unquote. Remember, like last week, he got eaten by a shark. So this ninja delivers a briefcase to R-Truth, telling R-Truth, oh, you know, this was his last, like, he's giving R-Truth something because now he's gone. He's eaten by a shark. And then, it was all a trap. It was all a trick. Actually, Akira Tozawa is still alive, and he rolls him up for the pin. Like, okay.
Oh my God.
Bring back the hardcore title. I mean, I miss the stuff where they would. Okay, I guess they can't film, you know, in airports and shit, losing the title.
Yeah, but I get what you mean. Like, I want it to have like more entertaining vignettes. But the problem with 24/7 title is basically a roll-up game. They just roll up. Like, they're not fighting for the title.
No.
So it's hard to make it compelling. But I would want to suggest that maybe R-Truth retires himself from actively pursuing the 24/7 title. I think he reached 40 already. I think enough lah. He was 100-time champion.
Give R-Truth a US title run or IC title run. How about that? I think he would be so compelling. He would just be funny and entertaining. You know?
I want him to have a rivalry with Brock Lesnar. No, I want him to have a rivalry with Brock Lesnar. That's what I meant to say.
Okay, let's move on. So the next match was supposed to be Bayley, the SmackDown Women's Champion, versus Nikki Cross. Of course, Nikki Cross not medically cleared, so they had to change the storyline and everything on the fly. They brought Asuka back out, which, okay, I can understand. At first, we were like, hey, why don't they just bring somebody else as a contender? But then we realized, okay, with the COVID restrictions, maybe they only had a set number of performers. They can't just bring any performer in. So they're like, okay, you know what? Let's just use who we have there. Let's put Asuka out there. Dharma, you okay or not?
Yes.
I think we lost you for a second again. So it was a short match. Bailey gets a DQ win because obviously Asuka was not going to win that match.
Yeah, that's true. My only issue with it was them coming out and having that stupid DQ disqualification. Like it felt like a cheap way to end the match. I know that's like the only way they could because they backed themselves into a booking corner.
Wow.
But the way it was executed, like
Okay, so after that DQ happened, Sasha Banks returned to beat up Bailey. Bailey beat Sasha Banks up. It wasn't very brutal. It wasn't very shocking. Bless you. You okay?
I've been blessed. Yes. Yeah, I'm okay.
Does it feel like Sasha Banks should have been away a little bit longer? We just saw her 2 weeks ago get beat down on SmackDown. Or is it a week ago? I forget.
At least it's good that they still had her neck brace on. At least she wasn't fully healed. So I guess they're putting in some sort of effort there. My only issue is that it wasn't like a wow, yeah, get him, Sasha Banks. Like you don't feel like fired up that she made her return. It was like, oh, okay, Sasha is back. Okay, come, let's do the feud now.
Because we just saw her. And there's no live crowd.
Yes, that. But also because we know Hell in a Cell is coming up, they need to have Hell in a Cell as the main event. One of the bigger matches, one of the bigger rivalries of this year is obviously Sasha and Bailey, right?
Yeah.
So it only makes sense that they're gonna be like having a Hell in a Cell match, so they have to start the build from there.
Yeah.
But it goes back to the problem, the argument that we were having just now. Because we know Hell in a Cell is coming up, we know they're gonna have a feud in Hell in a Cell. There's gonna be a blow off there.
Yeah.
If it wasn't so strict in terms of the storytelling device, we would have been like, yeah, they need to have some crazy ending. And then when she finally makes the announcement, Hell in a Cell, we're like, yes.
Yeah. Then it would have been big. Yeah, you're right. So for us hardcore wrestling fans, we already like know what's on the cards because, Hell in a Cell is next. So the same can be said for Randy and Drew McIntyre, right? It's like obvious what's next now. So
yes, correct.
I wonder though, do you think Nikki Cross would have won if she wasn't sidelined here? Like she would have won. And then
I think
Sasha go ahead.
That could have been a possibility, right? Could have been a possibility because, like I said, if Sasha distracted Bailey, she loses the title. They can literally have like a feud without the title at Hell in a Cell, and it will still be as compelling.
Exactly.
And there's a rub on Nikki Cross, and Nikki Cross can go on to be the defending champion. Could have that storyline with Alexa Bliss, right?
Yeah. But of course,
so I think it's great.
That didn't happen because of the situation that it is. So, at the end of the day, this match was sort of a bit of a throwaway, but you can't fault them anyway. Ambulance match is next. Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre. Okay. I know a lot has been said about this match. Was it a letdown for you?
I wouldn't say it's a letdown. The only issue why it was a letdown was because the introduction of the legends, right? They're coming in to seek revenge on Randy Orton because of what they've done to him. He has done to them during the summer. I get that. I like the effort that they're trying to make in terms of tying a storyline together. So it makes like the beat up makes sense. There's a payoff to that beating up. Fine, but. And we talked about this before. We talked about this before the podcast, right? That end of the day, what does that make your main champion look? Needing the help of 4 legends to defeat Randy Orton.
Let's just put it this way. It made him look weak. It made Drew McIntyre look weak because he needed... No, it's not like they just showed up and distracted him for a second.
Yeah.
Big Show chokeslammed him through a table. Christian attacked him at catering. Shawn Michaels actually, and I knew this was going to happen. They were on top of the ambulance, right? And then the camera angle, I was like, someone's going to attack him.
Someone's going to appear out of nowhere, right?
And most likely it's going to be a super kick because of the way it was set up. And like, boom, okay, the super kick happened. So Shawn Michaels super kicked Randy Orton off an ambulance. And then still Randy can come back and fight Drew. I'm like, what the hell? I was like, man.
My issue was after the super kick, right?
Yeah.
Drew should have just done the Claymore, put inside, done.
Yeah.
But Randy could still pull off RKO, could still make it like a bit climatic and all that. And now I'm thinking to myself, wow.
I mean,
not a nice look lah.
Yeah.
Not a nice look.
I think, are we looking too much into it? Do you think, Dharma, we're looking too much into it and we should just, take it for what it is? Like, okay, doesn't make him look too bad, I guess, but, but it's three legends, doing like their signature moves on the one fella.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on this, Dharma?
I don't have a take on this lah. Like, I mean, it's not you guys, but what I've been seeing online and all that. It's a generic statement lah. This is not pertaining to this match itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I do hear what you guys say lah. Three legends hitting a move on one guy. Go and check this out.
Yeah.
Because I see like a lot of wrestling fans like they go and complain on all the videos. They say like well, why this guy win, why this guy lose, and they seem to have a problem with everything. I'm thinking okay, you are watching wrestling to watch wrestling. So like, why you bother so much about what the storytellers write, or for example, they say Brock Lesnar has a special contract, he don't every time wrestle. That's between Brock Lesnar and his boss. Why does it matter to you if he wrestle how many times?
Right.
Agreed.
Watch the product, watch the wrestling, enjoy the wrestling. I mean, if it sets you thinking, the storyline was very deep, it sets you thinking, then think about it, then put this comment. But don't have to like expect the company to do their entire show according to your preference. Because in the end, if all the results are according to what you want, the guy you want to win, the guy you want to lose, then the storyline is totally predictable, then not fun already.
Yeah. How do you find our analysis so far? Are we still being fairly objective, or our biases seeping through?
You guys are okay. You guys look at it more deeper. I'm
okay.
to like generally the way that our audience has become these days.
Got it. You're talking about the one like very toxic lah. They just want to spew their opinion and then like just shit on the product for no reason.
See something, feel like okay, they are somebody. But they are just a unknown voice online.
Right. Yeah.
Completely understand. I think that's one of the reasons why when me and Young we have discussions on wrestling, we look at it like as a long time fan, right? We are invested in it to the point that we care about the product, but we are also grown up enough to know the line before we become like typical keyboard warriors on it. Like we kind of like, okay, we get it. Okay, this is stupid. Okay, done. Whatever, done. And then we can move on from there. So yeah, I get what you mean.
But
yes, but
we had three legends beat the crap out of one guy. I mean, I'm sorry lah, but there's no way that makes your champion look good. That just, and you're supposed to be pumping Drew up. Obviously, Randy doesn't need the shine. He doesn't need the rub, right? Yep. So, I think they could have done it a different way. It's just... I'm
going to play devil's advocate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, to be honest, based on what you guys were saying, right, I'm also thinking like, how come they did, like, it's a bit weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
But to play also.
Yeah.
To play devil's advocate, and Dharma, you will have to see this as well. We're gonna touch a bit on Raw. I don't think we're gonna run through the entire episode because of time, right? But the crazy thing that happened at the end of Raw this past week was Randy Orton was so pissed off by what happened, and then he said that there's hell to pay, for what you guys did to me, and if you have been seeing the memes online, so basically what happened was. Drew McIntyre came to celebrate with the legends and say, you guys have the night off, you guys can go party, blah blah blah. I'll join you guys after the show. So the legends had this legends lounge backstage. So they were inside this room, exclusive to them, all four of them, Christian, Shawn, Ric Flair, and Big Show. They were playing cards, right? And all of a sudden, right, the camera panned to outside the door, and this guy in a hooded, wearing a freaking face mask, all covered up, was pushing like a cleaning apparatus. He was dressed up like a janitor. And I was thinking to myself, like, is this a Retribution making a comeback? What's going on? Right? And then this mofo suddenly pushed all the way up and then was right outside the door, and he opens up his mask to reveal it was Randy Orton. And I was like, okay, Randy Orton is dressed up as a janitor sneaking back into the arena. Okay, interesting. What's going on? And this is when it went up one level of like cartoony already. This motherfucker, he go wear a fucking night vision goggle. And then he took out a steel chair from his cleaning apparatus. He entered the room, looked at all the legends, and after that he fucking wore night goggles. Yeah, then he switched off the lights. Then he proceeded to beat up all of them.
Well, beat up all of them because it was all implied because it was all in the dark. You can't see anything, right?
Yeah.
Of course, the one criticism of that segment was why weren't the legends yelling? You only heard bang, 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 but there was no like, ooh, wow. So, I mean, I thought that was a bit weird as well. But, I mean, Randy is like the meme lord at this point. Everything becomes a meme.
I don't know why everyone was like talking like, oh, this one is a Tom Clancy Splinter Cell. This is fucking like Medal of Honor. Yeah.
Like everything he did in that segment, the way his movements, like really like a snake, his sort of like Viper gimmick, right? The way he moved in, he paused for like just the right amount of seconds, put the thing down, hit the lights, and I think Randy, in terms of just his body movement, is just selling everything. And it was an entertaining part of Raw, even if it was just a minute.
Yeah. Well, Dharma, what's your thoughts on Randy Orton? Like, because we've been talking on this podcast quite a number of times that he has had like a banner year this year. Like, he really has revitalized his character, and I think he's doing the best work of his career. Like, what's your general thoughts on Randy Orton as a performer, as a wrestler?
I think he's doing quite okay lah. I see his wrestling, he's pretty good.
Do you see his selling though? Like a lot of people love his in-ring psychology.
Yeah, that was the thing. If let's say I look back some of the older matches that I've seen with him, right, he knows how to draw the kind of emotion from the audience. He really knows how to be a heel. He's not the kind of heel where you see him come out, then you're not happy, you pull him. It's not that kind of heel. It's the kind of heel where you feel like, I want to see this guy, something bad happen to him, that kind of, like, he can draw that kind of emotion out of you. So I see some of his matches like with John Cena, right? Like, he managed to make himself look so evil to the point where I was like, when John Cena got the upper hand, I was like feeling so happy. And after the match, I was thinking like, wow, he really drew me in, man.
Yeah.
And he was, during that period when he was fighting John Cena, he had that whole shaved look. He looked a bit like Voldemort a bit, like evil snake. So he really know how to ramp up his heel persona.
He's very good at the visuals. He knows, and that goes back to like everything boils down to how you look, the timing of everything, the movement. He has this down to a science at this point. Like, athletes hit a peak, whether it's basketball, baseball, football, whatever it is, right? Where everything they do is gold. Randy Orton is at that point right now, I think.
One other guy that comes to mind, right, about this is Mr. Kennedy.
Yes.
If you think about it. Like, there's a lot of very, very subtle things he will do, but he will slowly just make the audience more and more exaggerated with him.
Yeah.
I remember he had this match with Batista. So, like, he did stuff like, he kicked Batista's chest. Like, that's a bit, it looks like a bit disrespectful. Like, like, his chest a few times and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
All the very subtle things, but he riled up the whole crowd.
Yeah.
And then if I remember, that match ended in a disqualification where like Batista just went crazy, then hunted him non-stop until they disqualified him or something like that.
I remember this match. This was 2006 Great American Bash. I remember this very clearly because Batista just made his return from injury, right?
Right.
And then after that, I think he faced Kennedy in the return match, but I think Kennedy was just being that loud mouth, arrogant new guy, just to piss off Batista, right?
Kennedy is really like, he's the one guy that hasn't made a return to WWE yet. I don't know if you listen to the rumors, he pissed off the wrong people.
Yeah, I read about it.
So specifically Randy Orton.
Randy so who knows who knows. Anyway. So okay, let's just very quickly go back to the Drew and Randy thing. Obviously, this is gonna end up in Hell in a Cell. Right?
Yeah, of course. And that's really cool because when the match ended with this ambulance match, I thought it was the end of the feud.
Correct.
Because how can Randy come back from that? He cannot own by like
everybody.
Four legends and everyone, But then like that one beatdown that he did on Raw suddenly got back his shit. So I'm like, okay, I should just trusted Randy Orton to be able to pull that off.
What if instead of having all the legends interfere during the match, they interview him they beat him up backstage before the fight, before the match itself? Would that have been less detrimental to Drew's, heat, I guess?
Then that would have been like an easy win for Drew. Like, it would have given him that disadvantage at the start. So it's okay that the legends came in, I suppose, but I would prefer it to have I would have preferred for them to come right at the end. If it was just the part where Drew McIntyre fell from the ambulance, he's basically dead at that point, right?
Oh yeah,
and then,
then
if
Shawn.
Randy was if Randy was gloating, then after that Shawn came and did the switchy music, then he fell, and then
Big Show.
I didn't but honestly I didn't like that because it was too definitive.
Yeah.
If they wanted to incorporate all 4 of the wrestlers, for example, suddenly Ric Flair appear. And then Randy's like, what the hell is Ric Flair doing? And then suddenly he go push Ric Flair or threaten Ric Flair, and then Big Show came with the knockout punch, for example.
Right. Yeah.
And then after that, then Christian's carrying him up, trash talking him all the way to the top of the ambulance.
Correct.
And then all 3 of them stand him up, and then Shawn Michaels come in with the coup de grace to switch him, music him. Then I feel like it connected more, they all come in together as opposed to them having separate moments.
I think maybe this is just
the same thing.
Maybe this is just one of those situations you can't book it anyway. They had to tell this story. This was the way they were going to wrap it up, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
Maybe the problem was the gimmick, the ambulance match. Because let's say they had a regular match, false count anywhere, backstage brawl, whatever the hell you want to say, right? Then all the shenanigans could have happened after Drew won. You know what I mean? Or with the minimal distraction, and then Drew wins, then they come in and beat down Randy Orton. Then Randy has the impetus to come back on Raw to do his Call of Duty night vision shit, which is gold.
Yes.
That was the best thing that's happened on wrestling this whole week.
I just have a quick question. Actually, why are these legends going after Randy Orton? Is it something with the legend killer thing or what?
Oh, because he kicked their head on previous episodes of Raw. Yeah.
So this whole summer, what happened is after Randy Orton beat Edge, then he's been going on this whole legend killer streak where he started punt kicking all these legends' heads for no reason. So he punt kicked.
I remember that one.
Big Show, he punt kicked Christian because all they wanted to come back and stand up for Edge, right?
More recent, is it?
Yeah, recent.
Very recent.
Okay.
This,
I remember he had a legend killer run before.
Yeah. So this is like a bit of a retread of what he used to do, but now it's like more vicious, So anyway, let's move on then to the main event, and arguably the most compelling Roman Reigns has ever been. Jey Uso versus Roman Reigns for the Universal title.
Yes.
Like, who would have thought Jey Uso would be in the main event of Clash of Champions?
Yeah, and it felt well produced. Like, it didn't feel... Yes, it was very rushed. But the story...
I thought it went too long. Oh, you mean the storyline?
As in, suddenly he became like a number 1 contender, right? But the fact that WWE managed to build up this feud within 4 weeks, add all the drama, add all the backstory, have all these compelling promos, suddenly made it very anticipated. I have to give credit to WWE. They can make us care about something if they put in the effort, right? So that was a good thing that they did. But I know you're gonna talk about the match itself. So what is it about it that you felt wasn't satisfying for you?
Well, I just thought it just went on a little bit too long. It was. I mean, Jey had 1 or 2 moves, in there and everything, but I really felt like Roman should have just completely annihilated Jey. From top to bottom, bloodied him. I think he should have bloodied him. And then they could have done the whole, acknowledge me, say I'm the head of the table or whatever, the tribe. And then Jey was like, no, I don't want to. And then done the whole stuff at the end was perfect. It was great. It made Roman look like a badass, like a nasty, like he's like Mufasa in The Lion King,
He does have the Mufasa vibe.
He has the Mufasa vibe. Like, I'm going to take over this tribe no matter what, right? And I thought it worked very well. I just wish, it was a bit shorter, it was more brutal, and there was blood. This is one of those times. You want to use blood, use it rarely. This is the time you bring out the blood, I feel. And
visually, it would have been so impactful, yeah.
Yes. And not only that, right? At the end, Jimmy came out to throw in the towel for his brother, correct? And then Jimmy's like limping because he's still injured. And then can you imagine that white towel soaked in blood? I mean, visually it would have kicked ass. But maybe they can't. Maybe they can't do the blood thing because of COVID, because of safety reasons. I get it, but to me, for some reason, the beatdown didn't seem as brutal as it could have been. I don't know.
I understand. Dharma, you managed to watch the end of SummerSlam when Roman Reigns made his epic return, right?
Yes.
yes. What's your thoughts on him returning? Have you seen him becoming a heel recently? You see some clips of that?
Okay lah, because I've not been watching that much of his matches lately. I did watch his matches now and then lah.
Yeah. Well, basically what happened is since his return, he has aligned himself with Paul Heyman of all people. And
but it's interesting though, this combination, right? Like Paul Heyman is almost like his very quiet manservant. You know what I mean? Yeah. Whereas it's a different Paul Heyman. Whereas with Brock, Paul was like the promoter, like his advocate, right?
Hype man.
Yes, the hype man. But with Roman Reigns, it's very interesting. I love how he tweaked his character. It's almost as if he's forced to like talk for Roman, like, okay, here's the boss, here's the chief. You know, he's like that sniveling little servant.
Manservant.
Yeah. It's, okay, you know what? Do you remember Transformers? The relationship between Megatron and Starscream?
Yeah.
Okay, this is very interesting. Okay, yeah. I get it.
He's like a Starscream. Like, I feel like at some point Paul might even turn on Roman because Roman is, you know, like,
too vicious,
treating him poorly. So I feel like there's elements of that in there, and that's why I love this relationship. And a lot of it goes to Paul Heyman and Roman Reigns. Yeah.
All right. Okay, if you guys want to check out a podcast, right, other than us this coming week, I think you all should really check out After the Bell.
Corey Graves.
Corey Graves, because he interviewed Roman Reigns right before Night of Champions. So Roman Reigns actually talked about, you know, the reason why he stayed off WrestleMania, the whole storyline, why he decided to come back, blah, 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 right? And he made a lot of very interesting comments. One of the interesting comments that was picked up on, and I think Fightful Select, some of the dirt sheets, they talk about it. Roman Reigns had the idea for his comeback for this character. He was the one that pitched this idea. So this is exactly what he told like Vince McMahon and the creative team. He wanted to be a mafia boss that does his own kills at the end of it. That was his entire story. That was like how he wanted to characterize himself. Like, I'm just this quiet mafia boss, and I'm only gonna come in to do the business. Like when it's my time to do the kill, I have to take care of shit myself. I'll do it. And that won over Mr. McMahon, and that won over Paul Heyman. And Paul Heyman said that he is basically the man behind like the creative input. Like Roman gave the idea, and he has been the one trying to like put it down together. And he said how he served and fit into the character of Roman Reigns is, instead of like you said, him being like the crazy loudmouth promoter for Brock Lesnar, he's more like a man who is following orders from Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is almost like the big boss, and he showed it even like, you know, in the beatdown with Jey Uso. He's showing compassion to Jey Uso. He's telling Jimmy Uso, throw in the towel, please, because I have no idea how this crazy man is gonna react if you don't. That fear that he's portraying, right? I think just adds a whole other layer that how dangerous Roman Reigns is.
So essentially, what Paul Heyman is doing is accentuating what Roman Reigns is doing. So that's why I think it's a beautiful thing. And if you watch a lot of gangster movies, mafia movies, there's always this one character who's like, you know, he's even though he's the sniveling like servant or the guy who does everything for the boss, sometimes he won't cross that line. He doesn't dare to cross the line. But the boss, the mafia boss, is the one who like he will get the shit done. And that's what Roman Reigns is. And that's why all of a sudden Roman Reigns, like we said, is the most compelling he's been in a long time. And I'm happy that it is his own idea. It just tells me that, you know, okay, these guys have really good ideas for their character, what they can pull off. Now, him being the head of the tribe, obviously this sets up for a mega matchup at WrestleMania, doesn't it? I mean, we all can see it in the cards, right? Because when we talk about the bloodline, who he's related to, I mean, the most famous in that family would be
The Rock.
That's
DJ.
Right. So, Dwayne, Mr. Dwayne Johnson. So at some point, I mean, if they can pull this off, this is the long road to WrestleMania where, you know, The Rock The Rock is, comes back and says, hey, Roman, I seen what you've been doing. I'm the head of the table. I'm the tribal leader. And then they have the epic showdown at WrestleMania. How awesome would that be? Roman Reigns versus The Rock.
And how awesome would that be when Roman Reigns beats The Rock?
Yes. I mean, he's already beaten the Undertaker. Just give him the Rock also lah. Push him to the moon.
Yeah.
But this time as a badass heel, which I can get behind.
Yes, I agree. Yes, Dharma, you were saying
I was
something.
thinking also, like, okay, I see at some point, like, Roman is being the face all along, right?
Yeah.
And then the people are like booing him for the sake of it. They want to see like, hey, I'm cultured. I'm also one of them who boo Roman Reigns, that kind of thing. Then I was thinking, hey, actually maybe he should just turn heel. That would make more sense. But then finally he's turning heel lah. But I don't know. This storyline that you're telling me is like quite sounds different from what I was thinking he would do.
What you thought in your head that how was his heel turn gonna go?
I was thinking like a very generic heel turn. That means he come in, he does like the very normal heel stuff like disrespect opponent lah, slap the face, take audience signboard, that kind of thing. But not like a martial boss lah. I didn't think until that extent.
Yeah. So I dare say I think Roman Reigns' heel turn exceeded even our own expectations of what he could be as a heel, because during his rivalry with this Jey Uso, right, when he was talking to him, right, he really considered him like still like a family member, talk like a normal person to him. He just said the only thing that he said that was a bit heelish was that you can be this guy, but I'm still the head of the family. I'm still the one feeding, giving food putting food on the table. You don't understand the responsibility that's needed to become the main champion. How could you know? You're a twin. That kind of thing. So like it's very cerebral, very smart. Like very intelligent. Like so you can understand his character backstory. Like he's doing it because he feels in his own twisted brain that he's the only one that is capable of taking care of this family bloodline, right?
Well,
so
especially like in movies and in anything really, your bad guy needs to believe that he's the hero of his story. So that's what makes this work, right? That he is, like you said, doing this for the bloodline. And let's also give some credit to Jey Uso, who's played this role perfectly. In that he's this like, I'm the smaller brother by a few minutes. I'm not the biggest of the whole family. We're not the most popular or the ones that have won championships and stuff like that. But damn it, I have this opportunity. I'm going to make the best of it. The way he smiles when it's like, yeah, let's go, Clash of Champions. And then Roman gives him the side eye, like, what the fuck you think you're doing? Sit the hell down. This is like high level acting, bro.
Yeah, take your ass whooping like a boy.
Yeah, like a boy,
If you guys have the time, WWE Network has a really great episode on Jey Uso. I think WWE Day Off, and he talked and they interview him with his family members, with his wife, with his kid, and like how they refer to like Joe, like they call him Joe in the story in the episode lah. And like the dynamics growing up, and they really did a great job in terms of like painting where his mindset is going into that match. Because let's all admit it, that match that happened at Night of Champions was the biggest match of his career. And Roman Reigns choosing Jey Uso, it wasn't a random choice. No. Apparently, he requested him personally because he trusted. Apparently he trusted Jey Uso to put him back into like the grind of wrestling again. So he had a choice of like which opponent he wanted to work with. Not
just that too. No other person would have made this story work. It's about family. It's about, being the head of the tribe, blah, 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 that kind of thing. So any other wrestler would just have not made any sense. The only people that suffered from this whole Roman Reigns thing, like we talked about, Braun Strowman and The Fiend, who have since disappeared. One, Braun Strowman went to Raw Underground to fight Bare Knuckle, Dabba-Kato, whatever shit, and then don't know where The Fiend went. So...
I'm worried for Braun because I don't see like how Braun's gonna come back from this. But obviously the Fiend with the whole Alexa Bliss connection, I have a feeling sooner or later he's gonna make his return. It might even be as a face or like the anti-hero in the story. You never know, man.
I mean, we've talked about this before. The Fiend doesn't need a championship, to be honest. He's a character unto itself, and he can just do his Fiend thing. He'll sell Fiend merchandise. And now, yes, with Alexa Bliss, there's a whole other avenue of nonsense that he can do, and without putting his body at risk. We say, he found the cheat code, lah.
I agree. Okay, so this one I must tell Dharma also. Honestly, in my opinion, in all of wrestling right now, the most compelling TV show is SmackDown.
Yeah.
Because we got the main event scene. We got Roman Reigns being all his tribal shit and like all the compelling stories that come from there. Now we got Sami Zayn taking care of the Intercontinental title scene.
We got Bayley.
So many so many contenders there. Like you're right. You have Bayley. It's gonna have a great rivalry with Sasha Banks. It's been doing great work throughout the summer. And that's not to mention all the people that's coming up in SmackDown. We got Big E. We still got Matt Riddle trying to prove himself. So many people waiting in the wings. So we ever mentioned The Miz, John Morrison, Otis, that whole storyline.
Yeah,
fucking stacks, yeah.
It
in
is
my
stacked.
opinion, SmackDown.
So okay, well, very quickly then, just anything else that stood out on Raw other than Randy? Because okay, the whole Retribution thing is put to the side because I believe they are also being quarantined because of COVID concerns.
Not just Retribution, Raw Underground as well, and that's why you didn't see Raw Underground this week.
Oh shit! Oh my god! I didn't even realize it, dude. Raw Underground has been so freaking lame as of late. Okay, maybe lame is not the word. It's just okay. I'm done with it. I'm done with it. The fact that Raw Underground.
You didn't notice that Raw Underground.
No, I didn't, and that's a bad thing. That's a bad thing that I didn't even realize. Oh, wait, now that you mention it, oh yeah, they weren't. I guess I really wasn't paying that close attention. But also that means if I missed it and it didn't happen and I didn't catch it, it mustn't be very important in my list of things to catch, right?
Yeah, it dropped because obviously like they couldn't fill up the ring, the people around them because of the restrictions. So a lot of the members that was there as like the audience probably came into contact with with the COVID people. So it's tough. So can you imagine they try to build up WrestleMania and then like the week before the cut, Roman Reigns kena down with COVID or like some of the main event matches. It's gonna be tough.
It is tough. It's tough. Okay. AEW, anything stood out for you this week?
AEW, I think the big match coming in was obviously Cody made his return. AEW is building up towards like their anniversary show.
Wait, bro, hold on. Cody.
Okay, Young sleeping already.
Oh.
okay, stay on.
Stop. Just stop.
Stay online. I wanted to say that next week, AEW is going to have that Dynamite anniversary show, that 1 year anniversary.
Yes.
And apparently it's going to be headlined by Cody and Brody Lee for the TNT Championship. So
dog collar match. It's a dog collar match, and Cody, I guarantee you, is going to bleed like nobody's business because that's what he does.
That's what all the Rhodes family does.
Yeah, no doubt he's going to sell like a mofo for him. And do you think he should win back the title? I hope not. I really hope not. Brody Lee has done jack all with it.
I mean, I prefer the title on Brody Lee only because I prefer a heel holding the title.
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes he's only going to come back and do that, weekly invitational with the TNT Championship, which was like, didn't really build up anyone. So like, whatever. Brody Lee, I think, is the better contender to hold the title, in my opinion, at this point in time. That's like the only thing that caught my attention. Obviously, John Moxley had a match with the Butcher, not the Butcher Man, unfortunately, but the Butcher.
Yeah, Butcher and the Blade Butcher. Oh, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Who cares? Don't care.
Lame.
Okay, so building towards Full Gear, which is their next pay-per-view in November, right? They're gonna have a tournament to crown the number one contender. But I thought you got ranking system, leh. I'm sorry, but they need to stop it, like with their tournaments and then the Casino Battle Royale, and then like, oh my god, they're reusing things now.
It's interesting, bro. Like a couple of months ago, we were singing the praises of Dynamite.
Yeah.
We were talking like, wow, they're very interesting. And then now, like, it just has become like at the sideline. I'm not interested in a lot of things that AEW is doing.
Why? Is it because Chris Jericho has sort of like, he's all of a sudden now feuding with freaking Luther and Serpentico or whatever? I
believe that their main stars are not draws right now. Like I'm not watching AEW. Yeah, I'm not watching AEW for anyone in particular right now.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, like even Moxley, in my opinion, is like he's not compelling because he doesn't have a great feud right now. Like all his rivalries are very mid bosses level. You get what I mean?
And even if he was feuding with Lance Archer, now Lance Archer is out because he has COVID, right? Even if he was feuding with Lance Archer, is that a main event draw?
Nah, not necessarily.
Right, like
I agree.
His entire title run has been not because of him, but he doesn't have the right dance partner, lor.
Yeah, I agree. At the end of the day, I am still holding out hope on Kenny Omega and Hangman Page. That's like the only one that I would think will be the savior.
Yep.
Those are the two guys. And of course, Miro. Mr. Rusev.
The best man.
The best man indeed. Dharma, do you know about this? Do you know about Rusev joining AEW?
Yeah, I saw the news.
So yeah, he's that's his real name, right? Miro?
Yeah, his real name. Miroslav.
Miroslav, right.
Yeah.
I love that they are letting him be himself, showing off his character. He's sitting there talking shit with Kip Sabian. Whereas, of course, back in the WWE, he was just like, brute, the Bulgarian brute. And that's about it. Yeah. There's nothing compelling about him.
Yeah.
So I think
yeah, it's true. Dharma, do you like Rusev? Like, because I mean, he's also like the same kind of like wrestling style as you, right?
I see his matches. Like, I don't really remember seeing his matches. I did see a few. Like, I didn't remember anything
outstanding.
I just remember that he's like a big, strong guy. And that's all.
Right. I mean, he had a tag team match on AEW. I don't know how he's going to be, in a program. I just hope he gets into a good program soon to just sort of establish himself.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
He needs to be more than just the best man. He needs to be.
I think that's just a gimmick to get him in the door. We'll see where he goes from there. Like, he has to be the best at everything, to earn that nickname. But there was this weird freaking talking about that. Like, I don't know if you saw the promo where he's trying to set up the bachelor party for Kip Sabian, and then they were playing in an arcade. And then they zoom out, and then there's this guy standing next to him say, "I'll help you do the party." I'm like, who the hell is that guy? And it was
no idea.
The commentators, and of course it was Excalibur. It's like, he's like a record holder at something. I'm like, record holder at what? Like, that was the most. And this is what I hate about AEW the most. They didn't explain what the hell that guy was. They expected us to know who he was. We are not freaking, whatever the term you want to call it.
I didn't even make the effort to find out. Like, I mean, this is the kind of thing like remember when they introduced Luther? And I'm like, who the fuck is Luther?
No, they are trying to be too smart. And they are catering to a certain audience that you need to explain it at least. I don't know why JR wasn't like jumping up and down and scolding people, because to me, JR would be the guy who would be like, that is so and so and so and so. But no, Excalibur was like, that's a record holder. And I'm like, record holder at what shit? Who is that guy? Is he a comedian?
They didn't explain.
They didn't explain it.
They didn't explain it well.
Yeah. So anyway,
I agree.
NXT TakeOver is this weekend. Woo! Like we said right on the top of the show, lots of wrestling to watch. So Sunday morning, Full Sail University, attendance of 0 because closed doors.
Yes.
Yes. Damian. Okay, let's just go through the matches real quick so we can
very quickly, right?
Yes. Damian Priest versus Johnny Gargano, North American Championship.
I am a fan of Johnny Gargano winning it again. Because Damian Priest does nothing for me, but I don't know, man. Some people like him. I do not know. What do you think? Yeah. What's your Damian Priest thoughts?
Yeah, I have no real connection with Damian Priest. They're trying to make him a face, but he's this rock star who likes to hang out with chicks in hot tubs after he wins. I can't relate to that.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, whatever. If he's a heel doing that, I'm like, okay, then I get it. But as a face doing that, I'm like, I'm supposed to think he's cool? Maybe. Okay, anyway.
Yeah, but problem with him is he's a veteran now. So
he's going to be there to bring up the younger guys. But then again, Johnny Gargano is not a younger guy, so it's just there to have a match.
Yeah.
The only compelling thing that I can see is if in the next match, Io Shirai versus Candice LeRae wins the women's title, Johnny Gargano wins the North American title, then there's something there. They have the whole husband and wife dominating NXT deal.
Yeah, I agree. Even though, in my personal opinion, I would love Io Shirai to still keep the championship.
Same.
Because so it's hard because Io Shirai is my favorite girl on NXT.
But to be fair, Have any of her current recent feuds been compelling at all?
I like the Dakota Kai match. I'm a fan of Dakota Kai. So like
Okay.
I thought the match was great. The whole Raquel Gonzalez situation is cool. But I agree in terms of like a defining feud, not yet.
Not yet, right? So
yet.
maybe, hopefully, Candice LeRae can be this defining feud. And for that to happen, I think that maybe she needs to lose the title and then she goes back on the hunt. And then she has to not just face Candice LeRae, but Johnny Gargano, because they're husband and wife, a duo, ma. So maybe that could be it.
Yeah.
Can you imagine
the only
Johnny Gargano
NXT...
and Candice LeRae versus Scarlett and Karrion Kross? That's a feud I want to see.
I think they were hinting at that way before their debut. Remember when they walked away after they had a match with Ciampa, and then like they saw Scarlett and Karrion Kross looking at them.
Bro, planting the seeds, bro. They are planting the seeds for the eventual feud. Because that's a husband and wife feud waiting to happen. Okay, the other one was Keith Lee and Mia Yim, but of course we know they are over on Raw doing whatever lah. One's being a good guy, the other one's freaking wearing a mask running around.
I love it, man. I want to see these heels dominate. I mean, I'm talking about Candice LeRae and Gargano because they have changed the character, so might as well go all in with that, right?
Yeah. Santos Escobar versus Isaiah Swerve Scott for the NXT Cruiserweight title. You know it's going to be a great match. They've been feuding for quite a while. Yeah, they've been going back and forth already, so I'm excited for this one. Let's move on. Kushida versus Velveteen Dream. Okay. Ever since Kushida came in, he had that hype, and then he just kind of...
Apparently, like he had an injury, right? And he just returned from the injury.
Yeah.
And now he's like a full-blown heel or something, or what?
Kushida? No lah. Velveteen is the heel. Kushida is still
so like he's just back, but he's just more aggressive.
Yes, but he's still a face because Velveteen is the one that's doing the heel work. So I wonder, if anything, I'm intrigued by this match because of the potential of where it could go. I feel like a character like Velveteen Dream could bring out the best in Kushida, kind of like Velveteen Dream and Aleister Black, the whole Say My Name gimmick.
Understood.
Yeah, I feel like they could tell a cool story, but it's quite early in this feud, so I wonder where they're going to go with this.
I want Kushida to do well. I mean, I'm a fan of him from New Japan. His time splitter gimmick was great. They need to just give him good stories. And the thing is, his English is not there yet as well, right? So it's hard for him to connect to the American audience. So I just don't want him to fall into the same trap that Kenta did.
Right. What let
Hideo Itami did.
What let Velveteen Dream handle the promos? Then Kushida can be the the underdog, the one that fights from below. Okay, main event time. The one that has everybody going, really? Okay, Kyle O'Reilly versus Finn Balor for the NXT Championship. Now, the Undisputed Era, ever since they lost the titles, they sort of but they're still a faction. They're still together. As in storyline-wise, they still hang out with each other and they back each other up, which is cool. Like we talked about before, why can't they go their separate ways but still be affiliated with each other?
Here's the thing that I'm very curious. Like, out of all the Undisputed Era, the one that is next in line for the championship would have never been Kyle O'Reilly, in my opinion.
Really? Okay,
I've always thought it would have been Roderick Strong. Roderick Strong had the potential to have gone to main event because I think, other than Adam Cole, Roderick Strong have a lot of character depth. He turned heel, betrayed his friend, joined Undisputed Era. He had his NXT American Championship run. He feuded with some of the bigger names as well. So I feel like he can go up and down. He's very versatile in that. We haven't seen really that much of Kyle O'Reilly or Bobby Fish standing out on their own. Yeah, so I'm curious because it's new.
Yeah. Well, and maybe that's why they're doing that. And also, who's supposed to be the tag team? Is Bobby Fish
Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish lah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting.
I mean, they've always been the tag team in the Undisputed Era.
Right. Huh.
But what were you wondering?
No, I'm wondering why why out of the four why is it his turn? Why is it his time?
Got it. I know that he's super talented and he has a very dedicated fan base. Shout out to someone from Grapple Max, Gerald. He's always telling me that he's one of the best BJJ exponent in wrestling right now. Like he uses a lot of like, you know, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu moves. He's really into MMA stuff. So I was thinking to myself like, fans who do all this martial arts stuff, they will probably have an affinity for someone like him.
Sure. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, if anything, it'll be an interesting match. And will the Undisputed Era come out and try to, you know, screw with Finn Balor? Will we see Undisputed Era versus Finn Balor moving ahead? Or is it just a one-off exhibition match? Which it might very well be, you know? I mean, we'll just have to wait and see.
Yep. I am excited for the match though. I am looking forward to them because I finally... I have a soft spot for Kyle O'Reilly because he's always the guy with the funniest expression.
Yeah.
In Undisputed Era, every time he takes a bum lah, he always has this face that you cannot smack around. Funny guy. So.
Well, I mean, if anything, maybe that's why, because, you know, like, look at who's running the show there. Triple H and Shawn Michaels. You know, they love the guys who can express themselves and be silly and be crazy. So this looks like a fun card. Certainly better than the previous card. And you know, they will deliver. I feel like they will. So we'll have to catch it. And, you know, I actually am looking forward to this a little bit more than Clash.
I am as well. And it's funny because I haven't really eyeballed NXT as much as AEW. Like every time it's between NXT and AEW, I always choose AEW. Maybe because I have the fight.
And it's live.
So it's easier.
Yeah, it's live.
Yeah. So maybe that's why. But NXT always delivers in takeovers. Like even if they are so-called so-so takeovers, I still believe delivers.
Yeah.
So every time if like I feel frustrated with wrestling or what, I always watch takeover and I feel like okay, yeah, I still love it.
Yeah. So anyway, there you go. That's your preview for NXT TakeOver this Sunday. Actually, hang on.
It's
No. The date
Sunday,
is October the 4th. So hold on.
Is it?
So that means
it's Sunday lah, correct lah. It's Sunday morning Singapore time, Saturday night in America.
No. I'm looking at the Wikipedia page right now. It says October the 4th in America, which means it's Monday morning for us.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, Foreign, what happened to you?
I
How come you
guess so.
disappeared?
Well, apparently my battery says I got 20% left.
All right. Well, I mean, if anything, that's a sign for us to wrap things up here. And of course, we want to say once again, Destroy Dharma, thank you for being on the show, man.
Thank you for having me. It was fun.
Oh, sure. Yeah, always good to see you.
Thanks for listening in to our Clash review. Hope you managed to catch all of that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, at least now I have a better idea of what if I'm catching the product, at least I have a better idea.
Right.
Exactly. I can find some pockets of time to watch. I think I watch more wrestling. It also helped me become a better wrestler as well.
For sure.
That's true.
Yeah.
And if you need to catch up on a product, just listen to our podcast every week. We will keep you up to date. Some people
There you go.
never even watch WWE, but they just keep track because they listen to the podcast. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe we're doing our jobs.
That's right.
Yeah.
Anyway, once again, thank you for being on the show. Let's wrap things up. Hey, it's Mr. Young.
And it's Foreign in the building.
Bye-bye, see you guys.
They both say at the same time. Let's do that again. Foreign in the building.
Foreign in the building.
Oh my God, this lag is killing us, guys. This lag is killing us.
Okay, Dharma, go first. I'll finish up.
Okay, you guys, this is Destroy Dharma, and I'll see you guys the next time.
All right.
There you go.